și mai pe lutul și și gut are drap și huc și mai iași Ana cu Ana la riti una sarti Hasin ahia tuklat idia namsar shipia haitu shakonia luba isanatia nibi lale Sharu lemnu itba itikmaniyashi Shanem duma niru shada Nisbatuma ala niyan Mushalpitu humbaba Şaira kişti Ereği aşkı Iktuma ibri kima kalati panishu.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Children of the Cup. I am your DM, GM, storyteller, whichever you like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I am joined by a lovely cast of people. We start with the most damned of us all, Azzy.
Hello, I'm Asio Asira, and I play Cecilia of Montfort. She's a Simish, and she has seen better days.
Next, we go to our bleeding heart, Shannon.
I'm Shannon, and I play Cassandra. She is a resident Kasut who just hearts being here.
Fantastic. Our next person, the Wolf Among Us, Mel.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I'm playing T-Meg, and I'm really worried for Cecilia.
And last but not least, the most powerful of us all the hungry boy forever, hungry boy for life, Seth.
Hi. I'm Soforiel, and I'll be playing Ajala, who's potentially about to lose his mom.
Oh. Alright. So, dear Ajala, why don't you give us the viewer warning and also our recap? And you can stretch the recap out as long as you want.
What do we call that? Having the executioner wait rather than forget the entire the right wording of this. However, everyone, welcome to our vampire game. This is a vampire game, which means we are playing monsters of the night, and in our case, as monsters of night and day. But we don't talk about that. So we're going to make some dark choices. We can make some dark decisions. Don't hold that against us as the players. Please hold that against the characters. They actually are the ones making those choices, supposedly, allegedly. And besides that, it's a horror story. So if it gets a bit too much, if it gets a bit too dark, feel free to tune out for a bit and come back later to see where the rest of the story is taking us. Anyhow, enjoy and welcome. And of course, recap. Last time on Vampire, I think we got away from a demon. When I say getting away, I mean that Cecilia nearly got her arms ripped off, but yeah, we got away-ish. After which we decided to go and search for some more information on demons, as Cecilia met up with Gabriel and had a bit of a talk about Lilith and where a shrine to Lilith might be. Then Cecilia left the city because the coterie and her didn't really agree on what to do next, and most of the coterie wanted to go and see the demon again, which felt like a really bad idea to her, and I think that's where we ended 2 sessions ago. And then last session, Cecilia was on the road, talked to Bartholomew, decided to ride into the mountains on her own to find herself at this shrine to Lilith that Gabriel told her about, which the rest of the coterie knows shit about because we don't know where she's gone. And the rest of the coterie simply research demons and try to figure out what to do next, not really coming to a conclusion. They were told by Bartholomew that it might be a really bad idea to go and see the demon again. And yeah, Vampire Daddy helped us in our research a little bit. And Cecilia ended up in a cave around where supposedly the shrine to Lilith was, to be ambushed by no other than Habiba, holding a blade to the back of her neck. Conversation ensued. Cecilia seemed to be able to talk the blade out of her neck to Habiba, offering a sort of trade or wanting to make a deal for Serafino's soul, which is currently in the possession of Habiba. And Habiba sort of put up her requirements for this deal to become reality, and as Habiba turned away, Cecilia grew her fangs a little larger, her back a little larger, started growing spikes and monstrous aspects as she turned into her Zulu form in an attempt to attack Habiba, still fairly damaged from the demon fight that we had just come out of. And that is where we left off last time in Children of the Cup.
All right. Good recap. So, where normally I would sit here and ask Cecilia to make certain rolls and certain things in public of everybody, we're going to change things up a bit. Cecilia and I are going to be dropping to a one-on-one. So, let's go ahead and get that done. I'm going to go over to Discord now, and I'm going to jump into the one-on-one channel. If you would please join me, Azzy.
All right.
Okay, so we have to reset up the cameras, unfortunately. There we go. Uh-oh, we're backwards. Oh, I did not intend this. No, it's fine.
Am I the
You
DM?
are the DM now.
Yes, this is what I needed for this fight.
This is absolutely what you needed. All right, just give me 1 second here. Just do a little switcheroo. Let boop. And let boop. All right, there we go. Now we're in our proper places. So, in order to keep our roll secrets, we're going to go ahead and do GM rolls instead of normal rolls. And we're not going to do initiative because that would give things away. So instead we're going to go and do cinematic initiative. You have transformed into your Zulo form. If you'd like to go ahead and give the people a description of what that looks like once more so we can refresh ourselves.
All right. She grows a lot larger, almost not fitting in this cave thing we are in. I don't actually know what the ceiling is, but still it's a lot larger form. Her skull is like cracking open, showing this like big plate, almost like there's some form of monstrous head, and the maw opens a lot and like splits a bit on the below her side. And there is like the fangs is starting to turn, well, the fangs of the vampire becoming like blade sized. Her hands like grows together and only has 2 fingers and 1 thumb. There's also some form of showing of maybe there could be wings, but there are not currently any wings at least, but it's like showing the start of wings forming. Her bones are cracking in many places, showing additional, joints on her legs and things like that. But all this happens very quickly. But what is visible is that even if she uses her vicissitude power to hide her wounds before, they are now more clearly visible, but she doesn't have so much blood to bleed, so it's most like they're open wounds almost over her whole form, as it looks maybe even more grotesque as it is, but it also looks, well, like it is wounded, it's been slashed a lot, as it is more spread out formally, her wounds, instead of being just focused to the arms.
Fantastic. So as we see this form take shape, we watch as you strike out, I believe was the last action that you took, towards Habiba as Habiba slowly begins to lift on her pantaloons. So, I would like you to go ahead and first give me your attack roll with your new form.
All right. I guess she would do both claws or something. I don't know. Do you want one attack roll or one for each, or how
One for
does-
each.
What was the rules again for splitting like that?
So what we do? Do you have any celerity whatsoever?
No, I don't have any werewolf blood anymore.
All right, fantastic. So what we do is you make the first attack as normal, and then the next attack comes at a one higher difficulty and one higher, one less dice.
Alright.
Now, because Habiba is not prepared in the moment, and this is a surprise round, her defense automatically counts as 1. The difficulty... Yeah. No, her defense counts as 1, so...
Alright. So I will first spend the willpower
Mhm.
to block out the pain so I don't get reduced dice pool.
Fantastic.
And I have a lot more physical capabilities in this form, so my actual die pool for this is 10 dice.
Ooh.
So
That's a lot
Zulo
of
form
dice.
increases all physical things with 3, and I have 3 in brawl, and I had 4 in dex, so that's 10. So let's see how it goes. The first roll, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
7 successes. All right. The
And the
Zulo
next-
form also does pure aggravated, by the way. So I believe
It actually don't technically do pure aggravated,
It
but
doesn't?
I can activate my claws as I did that, and I
Mhm.
did have blood to spend, so I have the claws of the beast from Protean at the same time.
which does do aggravated. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
And the second attack, which is 1 difficulty higher and 1 die less,
Mhm.
which would be 1, 2, 3,
Three.
but I don't have a specialization.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So, seeing as her defense is 1 for the purpose of this, we just go ahead and reduce 1 from your successes. And we then do the normal strength plus I believe it's +1 for the claws.
Yeah, and I also get 1. I'm actually unsure if this is. It says this in Zulo form. All brawling damage is improved by 1. Do I get 1 more die, or do I do 1 more damage just after the roll?
I think you do 1 more damage.
All right.
So,
So in that case,
yeah, it'd be strength +2 plus net hits.
all right. So I need to take away 2 successes from this. 1 for her defense and 1 for the hit.
Correct.
Is that all right? So the first one would be I had 7, so that would be 5.
Mhm.
Then I have strength, which is 8 currently.
Okay.
So that is 13, and then 1 for the claws. So the first strike would be this. And the 1 is not reduced, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes, and then +1 then from Zulu. So 7.
7. Okay. And then your second one? Go ahead and do that.
Second one would
and-
be 8 +1, 9, +1 more 10. So that's 10 d10s. And now
Oh.
something happens because I have specialization, because I have power. I have something called Fist like Anvil, but that
Mhm.
means that brawling damage is basically where it applies on. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus an 8 more.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So she's going to try and soak from the first one because this is aggravated damage. She does not get the benefit of her stamina, which is a really good thing. Because her stamina is normally, I believe, a 7. Yeah. So she only gets the benefit of fortitude, and her fortitude is a 4. So slash GR. Ooh. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's see here.
I'm so nervous.
Okay.
I can feel my heart pounding really fast. I'm too invested in this character.
All right. And then from the second one.
And I don't see your roll, so I'm really...
Oh, you don't see my rolls either. Okay.
No, EM rolls is hidden from me. I only see my own rolls when I roll into you.
Well, I can tell you she ain't doing too hot. So, let's see here. So that would only block out that, which is still... Okay. So,
The 8 was the last one. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
8 was the last one, so let me just double check.
Because I have +1 from the Zulo form. So it's 7 successes, but it's
yes.
1.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that in one round of combat, you got her, including her extra bruises, straight down to crippled in aggravated damage.
Oh gosh, that's 1 too little. Oh.
So, that is 1 too little to insta-kill her. However, I would like you to go ahead and roll for me strength intimidation, and you are going to take a extra dice from, or does the Zulo form give you extra dice automatically from in intimidation?
I think the benefit is that you get strength.
Okay,
I'm double
gotcha.
checking. Yeah, my strength is increased, so I guess it technically becomes more then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I will do in that case is I will go off of her wound modifiers, and I will give you an extra 5 dice for the intimidation. And that is going to be versus her courage.
So I have 8 strength, 1 intimidation. It's 9 plus 5, so 14 dice.
Okay. I know what you're looking to beat. You beat it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I can't read. 6 minus 1, so 5.
Yes. Okay. So we watch as the Zulo form takes over you. We watch as your claws extend and become your most deadly weapon. And we watch as those claws sink deeply into Habiba's form. As you tear flesh and bone as well melts before your claws. You watch as a grimace in the blink of an eye washes over Habiba. And I need to decide which of these she's going to do. I know that she's going to do this, but I need to know how she wants to execute that. So, what is your... Okay. All right, let's see.
Is she going to run? Or is she going to pull out the knife and fight?
As your claws finish going through her, I would like you to roll wits alertness. And she's going to roll intelligence stealth.
With alertness. Well, that is not a good roll for me, so... 1 success.
Roll again.
Okay. 2
Okay.
successes?
There we go. All right. Fantastic. Your claws continue to cut through her until eventually they reach the other side, tearing out a large portion of her guts. And in that very moment, as you feel victory, she disappears in plain sight, directly in front of you.
Okay.
Cave now empty.
Did I see an indication of her movement before she went invisible?
She seemed to just stand there and watch in horror before vanishing into nothing.
Well, I guess I have to hope that she ran, so I will... Well, the only thing that Cecilia is carrying is protecting her friends at the moment. She will try, in her strange, awkwardly hands, grab the crystal heart and run out of the cave.
Okay. You go and you grab onto the crystal heart. And I want you, as you look over in that direction, to go ahead and make me a perception awareness difficulty 7.
I will spend the willpower for this if I'm allowed.
Absolutely.
And I have... Alright, so... Oh gosh. Well, 0 successes. Not a botch.
Not a botch. Okay. So, as you quickly go over to reach for this crystal heart, you knock over a few of the candles that sit up on the stone that it is near. You grab quickly onto the heart, ignoring the other items that are on the table before you, and in a rush of emotions, quickly begin to make your way out of the cave, back the way you came. And you notice, at the entrance to the cave, you can see that there is a large crack in the ceiling, as if someone attempted to seal the cave behind you.
Oh gosh.
Your thoughts race and you realize Habiba went this way.
She's making a run for it. But the question is, how far will she run?
What do you? Why don't you let us all know, what is Cecilia debating in this moment?
All right. She is trying, well, it's racing so fast. She either gonna make it to a horse, turn into normal form, and ride for the city, hoping Cecilia Apiba didn't run towards the horse, but instead ran towards somewhere else. Because, yeah, that might be. Or she can just break the ceiling and seal herself in, giving her time as Habiba. I guess because she has the benefit of sunlight. Cecilia will see the crack in the ceiling, and she will use all her strength in this Zulu form and try to do what Habiba tried to do, to try to
Right.
crash the ceiling in to protect her until sunlight.
Strength brawl.
Strength brawl. Okay. So that would be that. Oh gosh, she rolled so well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And well, if she gets the benefit of Fista's anvil, that sounds like it might be now.
Yeah,
It
that
would be
would work.
11.
Mm-hmm. So, your claws dig into the stonework like butter as you rip a gash into the top of the cave system, and in seconds, hundreds of pounds of stone, maybe even 1,000 pounds of stone, drops down and seals the entrance. And the wind inside the cave rushes up, and you realize you have limited air, but that's not too much of a worry. Until you start slowly feeling a light breeze coming down the tunnel toward you.
I start running towards the breeze if there's another way to leave.
As you begin to run, you go past where the small shrine was that Habiba had created. You continue to go up, and eventually you come to a bit of a fork in the tunnel. Using the breeze as your guide, you make your way to the left-hand side and continue to run, and it feels like you're running for at least an hour. Before finally, you see light. As you go up and up and up, you see the exit of the cave. As you break through the exit of that cave, you see a small, ruined temple to Isis.
Oh, he didn't know. Oh gosh. I thought I was betrayed, but maybe he didn't know. Well, almost like in a haze of maybe like her own road and her visions and trying to control the beasts, and I guess I soon maybe have to do frenzy rolls or something.
Mm-hmm.
I will make my way towards the temple to find answers to what actually is it to be a monster.
Fantastic. So, you begin making your way towards the Temple of Isis, and you can see that this place has seen no worship for at least the last 6 centuries. Dust, spider webs, various types of desert and mountain insects alike crawl all over this place. As you search through the ruins and eventually find a large symbol of Isis carved into the stonework of the floor, you can see that part of that floor has been burst in, and there's a small set of stairs that leads down. Too small, unfortunately, for your Zulo form. But you could always make a new entrance.
I mean, how much more do I have to expand it? It's like twice my
You would
size.
have to expand it, yeah, like twice the size that it currently is.
I think I would. I really hope she's not following me, but it doesn't. I will drop out of the form and start walking down in almost broken state. I'm probably almost naked because I think most of my clothes ripped as I
You hulked out.
did.
Yeah.
Maybe
Strands of
scraps
cloth in
clothing.
inappropriate places, yes. So, you begin to go down the stairs, and you are greeted by walls upon walls of cobwebs. Someone probably hasn't been here in at least 2 years. But as you break your way through those cobwebs, and eventually push further and further into the darkness, you begin to first feel the coolness of still water And as the moonlight pours through past you, as you shift a little bit to let it in, you then see a steel pool of water that covers the floor. And in the center of that pool, a small... I had the word for it in my brain. Podium.
Tablet? Podium. Okay.
On that podium, 4 nails slammed into the stonework of the podium with a piece of leather strapped between the 4 nails. And on that leather, odd writing. What languages do you speak?
French, Latin, Venetian, and Egyptian, and some Arabic.
Okay. So, as you begin to approach this piece of leatherwork, you quickly realize you don't understand the language scrawled out upon it. However, I would like you to make a permanent willpower save as your eyes begin to roll over the words.
Permanent willpower, which is... how much is my willpower? 6. Not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
No specialization in willpower, but I don't think you can have.
Yeah, I don't believe you can have specialization in willpower. So, as your eyes begin to roll over the text and look at the small carved drawings on the leather, you can feel something like icy tendrils begin to wrap around your brain and begin to cause you to have heat flashes, but the feeling subsides. And you are slowly but surely able to read the text. Here lies the last recording of Lilith in the year 11 BC. And we cut away. All right. Oh, Azzy, you're not dead.
I've made it.
You
Oh my
made
God.
it.
Oh gosh. I was so afraid when you said you made it to cripple. I was like, oh no. That is not
That's
what
where
I
that
wanted to
intimidation
hear.
roll came in, yeah.
Yeah, oh gosh.
By the way, I
Oh.
rolled really poorly. It was like pure 2 successes each time, and it was like, fuck.
Oh gosh, I had the RNGesus on my side. She must have so many health levels, I guess.
Yes.
She's so dangerous. Oh my god. Oh gosh. I hope now she might be afraid of me permanently. That is maybe a
Maybe.
bad thing for me, because
That
then
could
she
be a
might.
very bad thing. We'll see.
Oh,
Either way.
I will wait here, read this text and so on until it becomes day, and then I will travel out.
Fantastic. So yes, what you would essentially get is that the writings on the skin is someone who was attempting to follow and record some of the deeds that Lilith committed. And what is written here is, perhaps if you're getting this correct, it could easily be portrayed that what's written here is some of the deeds that Joshua did, but this is saying that Lilith did them instead. So, another piece of the puzzle to that, did Jesus commit those miracles?
So this has become like proof for Cecilia that even more than she thought has been altered to hide the deeds of Lilith. Lilith was never wrong.
Lilith was never wrong. All right. So, I'm going to drag you and me back up to the main lobby. However, what I want you to do is I want you to go dark on your screen, if you could just have up your background. And at an appropriate time, I will message you on Discord. Because I assume that you are looking to get back to the city eventually.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, she will get into the city probably on that, like come in during that night probably.
Well, it takes you a full
Um,
day to get from here back to Jerusalem, so
Yeah.
we'll see how fast the party can get through a night without Cecilia.
Yeah. I have some things that I don't want to feel like I'm cheating on here. Like I have only 3 blood in my body, and I have a crystal heart. I hope I can not frenzy and try to consume it to survive.
Well. Well. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go ahead and look at some things. Now, I know, as someone who has seen the All Frenzy Party, that technically you don't have a choice. But I'm being nice. So, what I will do is we will go and we will look at what it takes for you to frenzy. What kind of roll do we need? This is not a roll that I have to look up often. So if you know it off the top of your head, that'd be great. But let's see what you would have to
It's
make.
normally self-control as well, or instinct. Instinct is normally rolled to control the rage for some time. But if you can direct the rage, then maybe the beast forgets about it. Maybe.
All right.
I will try to direct this as if I can. If I succeed in this role, I would try to direct it as fury, instead attacking a stone or something. Trying to
Okay.
focus on what they have done to Lilith, in order to make the beast maybe continue doing that instead of turning to the actual source of the frenzy.
Fantastic. So go ahead and make me that roll. Your self-control instinct, or conviction instinct, possibly, I think is what it is.
I think it's
Or
only
conviction
instinct.
self-control.
Is it also conviction?
Let's see here. Let's
I
go
can roll
to
it if you want.
roll all of that. And if I'm wrong,
Okay.
I'm wrong.
All
Yeah.
right, so bam. Oh no, 0 successes.
Would you? I know that you would want this to succeed, so I will say that you used a willpower.
Oh, if I'm allowed to, yes.
Yes.
Oh.
So
This,
that would bring you to
and I
one
have willpower.
success. Yes. And with that one success, it is very difficult, and I am going to unfortunately require you to blow through all of your temporary willpower.
Right.
As over the course of the next several hours, you rip into the stonework of this temple, doing your best to avoid the manuscript that is there.
Yeah, I really don't want to destroy that either.
Yeah.
Oh, the confliction if I have to choose. Oh, please. I shouldn't have this. I'm going to be quiet.
All right. So let's go ahead and go back up there. I'll meet you back in the lobby.
I'm going to lower my camera and just have it's going to look like this. Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Just a more realistic idea. Oh no!
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, children of the cup. How are you?
Hi.
Scared.
Okay. Getting the cameras reset up. There they go. All right. Fantastic. Everybody's in their right place.
Woo!
Continuing on, for those of our viewers, we watch as the camera pulls away from the scene we just left, dashes over the night sky, and makes its way back towards Jerusalem. Down into a well, around a few corners, and eventually, we see the party. Asleep, or sitting around and reading a few tomes, depending on what they decided to eventually do as the day went by. Bartholomew currently sits still in his wolf form at the bottom of the rope ladder. Everyone go ahead and spend me a point of blood, except for, of course, the person who's not here. Ajala, Chimeg, Cassandra. Your eyes open to a beautiful night. A cluster of bats have migrated over your sleeping, slumbering bodies. One less than normal.
But Jeff was a dick.
Jim was a dick.
Jim, sorry. Jim was a dick. Sunlight's not coming from the well.
Sunlight is not coming from the well. Instead, it is replaced by beautiful, vibrant moonlight that glistens in the water below.
Evening.
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 So,
Well, I have a bit to do today. I wouldn't mind a bit of help if you guys are free.
I would prefer to stay together, Ben, but I do feel like I really need to hunt soon.
Oh, I need to do that as well.
Yeah.
I just want to check up on coffee, but apart from that, I'm happy to be with you guys. What did you have in mind?
Well, first I need to hunt, and then I want to find the feather. He's one of the clan's hunter that, well, then he might be in the city, but at least some of the other hunters might be. And, well, I'm fine with flying around watching for him, but if you guys have a better idea, maybe ask around. That works well.
We could. Do we hunt and ask around at the same time?
Yeah,
does
last time I
feather
met
look like?
him, I'll give a description of him. But, well, there's not too many Eastern nation in this city.
So if we simply look for people from the Far East, we are likely to find them.
That's the plan.
Do you know where they hang out? Last, at least.
Well, last time I met them in the wreck.
Shall we head by the Painted Lady first? Make sure that we've been seen there tonight?
Sounds good.
Maybe some of the slaves already arrived, which would also make for easy pickings.
I also need to find Rafik.
Alright. Oh,
Do we want to hold on from the books, or should we return them?
Have we gone through them?
We've gone from them a fair bit. Should we hold on to them? Or leave them down here? Do you think that's safe?
I don't know. We still really don't know how safe this place is.
No. I actually don't know how many people who move here.
I guess we can
But-
leave them overnight at the Painted Lady, perhaps. I don't know. Or
Yeah, I know that Bucktruck has been spending some time here and he didn't say anything about someone else doing the same. At least.
Bucktruck's the ghoul that got beaten up. Serafino's ghoul. He found this place, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, I start making my way to the ladder, the rope ladder.
Okay. What do you do with the sleeping Bartholomew who's at the bottom?
He's still asleep.
He's still asleep.
Bartholomew. I'll carefully poke the shoulder.
Okay. Dexterity athletics.
Dog
Don't
gonna,
wake him.
dog
You
gonna
do
go
not wake a
On
papa
top
like that.
sleeping wolf.
Do not wake a
Dexterity
papa like that. What are you doing?
athletics. Here we go.
4 successes.
Lightning
right.
reflexes speciality.
Lightning reflexes. We'll definitely jump into this as you are quickly greeted by a growling, nipping set of teeth that almost rip off a few of your fingers, but luckily you pull your fingers away just in enough time as you are greeted by 2 glowing red eyes.
Sorry to wake you. Night has fallen. Are you staying in this form? Do I need to carry you up the ladder, or...?
He takes a few seconds, and eventually he shifts with the cracking and popping of bone back to his normal form. Carrying me is unnecessary.
Alright. Well, we thought about heading out for the night. Going to look into the, people of the steppes. G-Mex people.
Interesting. Well, I wish you all the luck. I have a few things that I need to get done.
Right.
And he begins to head up the ladder.
I'm gonna wait for a bit. Well then, shall we as well? And Jala starts climbing up as well.
Can I carry Batu up?
Sure.
If it's possible. And I'll make my way up.
Right, you go ahead and make your way up, and I'm assuming Cassandra follows as well.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. So eventually the 3 of you make your way up, pop out of the outhouse, in a bit staggered from one another. That way it's not the most suspicious. You find yourselves in a dark alleyway, just a little bit away from the main thoroughfare itself, next to the Jaffa Gate. A few footsteps leading in from the sands towards the street of where Bartholomew went. No longer visible.
I'm gonna head the other way and try to find a way around.
You went really quiet when you said that, so if you could...
Oh. I'm gonna try to find another way to get around to get into the thoroughfare away from this outhouse.
Okay. Fantastic.
Don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to the Painted Lady first. You guys
Yeah,
okay with that?
we would.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll try to find the Painted Lady.
So you make your way around the opposite direction, find your way through a few back alleyways, and eventually find yourself on the main road once more. Looking around, you don't see any dangers that stick out to you. No half-naked or fully naked women in half fur or otherwise form stand staring at you. No dangers whatsoever. There's a light breeze coming in from the east. The smell of several different carts and various different vendors making street food. And of course, the waft of people.
I'm keeping an eye out for Rafik as well.
Okay.
Cassandra will very quietly ask Chimeg if the smell of the outhouse and where we were staying is a prominent smell, perhaps. Something that could be easily identifiable, let's say.
Well, is it? Can we... I mean, outhouse wasn't really in use, was it?
It hasn't been in use for a while, and the smell has not lingered, luckily.
Yeah, she will just say, I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Just for you to have more of a nose for it than me, I'm going to check up on coffee, but I'll join you all in the princess shortly. It won't be long.
Alright.
Painted Lady, is there a back entrance?
Lady, sorry. I always called princess.
Fine, we can call it the princess from now on.
There is a back entrance to the Painted Lady, yes, through the back alleyway next to the very, very, very small shed that they have that extends for the Painted Lady.
I'm gonna try and find our way there in that case, so we don't have to pass the front.
Okay. Fantastic. So, Cassandra, you split off from the main group in your search for Kofi. And Kofi was staying at which establishment?
You said you told me, and you didn't.
Ah, okay, fantastic.
It was to be, yeah.
I'm going to not put him in the Weeping Lily, because that would be
Okay.
very evil. So instead, we will put him in... We will put him in the Rusted Loot. It's just in the Armenian Quarter across from the territory that has been marked out as your own, quote unquote.
Beautiful. Is it kind of middle of, like, is it high class, middle class, low class?
It's middle class, middle of the road,
Beautiful.
low middle of the road though.
Okay. Yeah, she'll be eager to go inside and see how Kofi is doing.
Okay, you make your way inside, and you're quickly greeted by a number of patrons that you can only assume are regulars, individuals openly gambling at the tables downstairs, drinking, laughing, telling stories about their recent adventures on the road and what excitement they got into on their way to Jerusalem. You can see that there are quite a few bodyguards of merchants that have a sort of pitched up tent here in the downstairs, and from what you can tell, there's about 3 groups of them from 3 different caravans. Far off in the corner, near the bar, is Kofi, and he is in the midst of a conversation with a rather well-dressed individual who seems to be lower upper class.
Fantastic. How long does it look like the conversation will last? I think she'd want to kind of get... I think she'd like to overhear, but wouldn't want to steal him away just yet. She's curious as to how he handles.
For how long the conversation might take, go ahead and make me a perception expression.
Hand of expression, beautiful. Okay.
Excuse me. All right.
Give me 2 seconds, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Expression. Yeah, knew I used all my rolls.
Right.
1 success.
1 success. Okay. You're not entirely sure. You could be at the middle or the end of the conversation. Either way, as you look around for somewhere to sit nearby, you could always choose the bar. There are heavily used, shall we say, bar stools that are up there. Quite a few of them are packed, but there is one that is about 3 stools away from that table, so you might have quite a bit of background noise, but you could possibly overhear what's going on if you focus just enough.
Sure.
Beyond that, the tables that surround his own, unfortunately, are all taken up by individuals currently in the middle of a game of Rochambeau. So...
Is that a long game or is that a quick game?
it's rock, paper, scissors. Just fancy. Fancy saying.
Don't need space. Laps or space. I join the game of Rochambeau to overhear
All right,
him.
fantastic.
And steal any trinkets win any trinkets that I can. It's a habit now.
Fantastic. They're playing for coppers. It's a friendly little game that they're playing.
No.
So.
No, she'll try and get some trinkets from people.
Okay. Go ahead and make me...
Throw in a silver, get some trinkets.
Okay. Make me a manipulation subterfuge.
I swear to freaking God, if I botch this roll, I'm gonna cry. Where are you? Sub.
Here comes the botch. Here comes the
Don't.
botch.
Should be impossible on this roll.
As it
There you
proved to be
go.
impossible. All right.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
I don't think I've seen that number in successes often
No.
before.
Me neither.
Well, with that many successes, oof.
Does
Wow.
a non-specialty come into play?
Huh. Oh, hold on 1 second. I just realized I have
Is that a maybe?
double audio going on roll 20. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna double check your speciality through the amnesia sheet.
Don't expect anything good for the rest of the night, folks. That I spent.
Everything just went in there. Yeah.
Everything just went into trinket.
Fuck! No, it's, I'm making a collection.
Unfortunately, it does not apply in this particular situation.
One day I'll figure out what it is. One day.
But either way, if this was a full-on game of Rochambeau in a private quarters, you might have swindled these people out of their clothes, but unfortunately, you simply swindle them out of their light corn purses and a few pieces of jewelry here and there. Let me see.
Any stories behind them? You know she loves a quick story. Sentimental value to better.
Get one story about how one gentleman who gives up his necklace says, well, it's about time I lost that. It was from my dowry, but it never happened. So another story you get for a precious ring is that it was the ring that his mother gave him as part of the family heirloom, but that is now firmly in your possession. And everyone else, of course, tells you about how they won their money at some other grandiose game that they have now completely lost, but that's worthless in the end.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So, right around the time that you are wrapping up your wonderful 10 rounds of Rochambeau that win you these wonderful prizes, you watch as Kofi dusts himself off, begins to stand, walks over to the bar, taps on it twice, and is delivered some sort of brinish liquid in a bit of a wooden shot glass. Quickly downs it, turns around, adjusts his clothes, and looks like he's getting ready to head for the stairs when his eyes fall on the Rochambeau game and then drift to you.
She'll stand, congrats the lads on a good game, and look to copy the stairs, and after you.
He nods, makes his way towards the stairs, and would eagerly wait as he opens up the third door on the right.
Thank you very much. And yeah, so
You make your way inside, and you can see that the place has had a few upgrades beyond the simple bed that is in there and beyond the simple wooden tub and the bit of a writing desk. You can see that he himself has taken on the swindler's journey, and a few trinkets hang from various different implements on the desk. You can see that there are pieces of armor, there are pieces of jewelry, and what looks like 2 full coin purses of unknown amount currently, but probably, if you were to guess, as long as they're not purely copper, might range somewhere around the 20 to 25 gold range.
She'll chuckle and give like a, bit of a squeeze of the shoulders. Well done. Looks like you've been having fun.
Yes, well, my formal education has taught me quite a few things. Either way, it is good to see you.
Fantastic to see you too.
How did things go on your end?
Been interesting. Ups and downs, but it'll get there. How else have things been going?
Perhaps find any more of that wine? I would love to have some.
We'll save the next batch of that wine for a special occasion.
Sounds fantastic. I'm surprised.
You can lose a game every once in a while as well, right?
Oh, I purposely did. That's how I got late last night.
Whatever is the Dark Ages version of a high five, she'd give that.
It's literally a high five.
Beautiful.
So, yes, while I have been working and toiling away on the idiots downstairs who are all members of various, any air quotes, highfalutin mercenary bodyguards of caravans, I did manage to get a bit of a discussion in with one of the caravan masters, let's see here, Alraxatara. I don't know where he's from.
Okay. What about him caught your eye?
Well, you could say his large purse, but that would be a lie. Instead, it would be the goods that he brought in. I noticed that when he dropped off his bodyguards to the establishment, while I was shopping for some simple groceries outside, that he had quite a few, shall we say, implementations of war packed away very neatly in his cart.
Is that for general sale?
More than likely for general sale. Not all of it looked like the best of work. Most of it looked industrialized, but I figure it would be useful to have a contact with someone who has access to such things.
Very much so.
So, I assume that I am just to continue what I have been doing. Talk, swindle, do the usual.
For now. I like to see what you're capable of and where your train of thought goes.
Okay.
And so
Well, my
far,
current
I'm
train of
impressed.
thought tells me that I should invest in some property here in Jerusalem, if you wouldn't mind. Unless this is a temporary holdover for our final destination.
No, that sounds like a very sound investment. Where did you have in mind?
As much as I wanted the microbrewery in the Jewish Quarter, from what I understand, it is controlled by a very powerful individual, one that I can get no contact with currently. So, instead, I decided that perhaps some fine real estate between the Greek Orthodox and Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I am not sure how you say this word.
Sepulchre, close enough.
Very well. Some of the houses around there seem to be of the finest quality. Perhaps they would serve as a good base of operations.
Out of character, is that a safe space? I'm no good with maps.
You haven't been to that particular section of the city. So while it's near your territory, you personally have not gone up there, so you wouldn't be able to. You'd have
but
to
it's
talk
not
to
in
Kelly.
like. It's not as far as Cassandra is aware. Danger zone. It's not a.
Correct. Yeah.
Well,
You didn't-
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that sounds. Have a
Perhaps
look
getting our
around
hands on one of
and
the houses there would serve as a good place to start up an estate that we can earn money to, get ourselves some servants, perhaps eventually buy some of the surrounding farmland. I went to go talk to one of the bailiff's men to see if he could direct me to someone who sells deeds. However, unfortunately, that is controlled by an individual who's currently not in town, and I was not given a name. So instead, I am waiting for a letter from him as to when that individual is in town. He says it is probably going to take the better part of 3 nights to get word back. But I figure acquiring some of the farmland around here would be very useful. It would be great to discreetly bring in a source of stable income, and also go ahead and give us a place where we could store things discreetly. After all, you can do a lot with a few barns.
I like the sound of that. Though, that area, and then Cassandra will quickly basically ask him to keep an eye and see if there are any like the whole thing about the symbols marking territory. She basically asked him if he could see if there's anything like that around where he's buying, and to describe what said symbols they are if he sees anything of the like.
Okay, I will keep an eye out.
Thank you, because that might be there might be further permissions to get should that be the case, but we'll sort that out in time. But yeah, will you be staying here, do you think, for a while? For more than a night?
Perhaps for the next night. Yes, perhaps tonight. And by tomorrow morning, probably somewhere just before evening, I will go ahead and get the appropriate investigations done. And should it prove to not be in the territory that you say is marked, I will go ahead and purchase one of these houses. That might take me a few hours, so I would say 2 days at most.
Well, I'll be sure to see you here again. If for whatever reason you wish to stay somewhere else, okay. Is there any other drop spots that Cassandra is aware of? I don't think there is there?
Outside of the one that you know of, no.
No, okay. Leave a message at the painted lady. leave a letter at the painted lady specifically.
Very well.
For me.
If possible, I would like to... I do not know how this works, but I would like to... he's probably busy, but in case... Rafik, I think his name was, is available.
Yes.
He could be useful. I could see using him as a bodyguard.
Well, I should actually be seeing him shortly, and if our lovely Chimek doesn't have any problems with that, I can send him your way potentially. Would you still be here in, say, within the hour?
He kind of looks around and says, well, I was thinking of possibly going and checking out a few of the local restaurants to see how good they were, but I suppose I could stay here for a few hours.
Would it take longer than an hour out of character because I don't know English?
For you to cross the street, go into the Painted Lady, talk to Rafik, and then come
Yeah.
back? No.
No. Well, it'll be like, if be less than half an hour. If Rafik doesn't come here within half an hour, do as you wish.
Very well. I eagerly await your response, or Rafik's arrival, whichever happens first.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of your night and keep the good work going.
Naturally.
And she'll head on out.
You head out. So, Ajala, Chimek. You make your way to the Painted Lady. A little bit of a buzz of activity has taken over the first floor as you can see that Fatma is currently filling out a number of bowls with a thick potato stew. It sort of wafts through the air, handing them over to a young boy and then motioning for him to go down a set of stairs through the open doorway behind the bar. And the boy quickly picks up 2 bowls and begins making his way downstairs. His eyes then glance up to you as he looks past the herds of individuals sitting at the various different tables and says, "Ah, welcome, Ajala, Chimek. It's good to see you. Your guests have arrived."
Good.
Alright, and they are downstairs?
Yes.
Okay. Before I go there though, is Salifa still in?
Is who still in? Sorry. Cat.
Salila, sorry.
He kind of looks upstairs very quickly and says, "Well, last I saw her, she just went upstairs. However, she doesn't exactly strike me as the kind of individual that exactly uses the front door all the time, so..."
Okay. Oh, which room is she staying at?
Room 7.
Alright.
She
you
make a
don't
drink.
mind who- Sorry?
He kind of, as you look that way, he kind of looks towards Chimag and says, asks her if she needs a drink.
Have you seen Rafik actually?
Rafik is downstairs. He is preparing things.
Preparing things?
I had to move a few beds and things like that. Yeah. People were a little larger than I was expecting, so.
I'll take a cup of wine.
Very well. And he goes ahead and gets
Be
that
back in a
for you.
minute.
Kind of nods towards you, Ajala, as you head off. So, Chimek, how have the things of the Glorious War been going? You and I have not conversed very much.
No, I suppose we haven't. Well, things are... There's a lot going on, as I'm sure you noticed.
Yes, there are all sorts of individuals arriving here, taking up bed space and food, but I am promised that they will work and expand our little empire, as it were. Just the Painted Lady plus, I guess you could say. I'm not sure how that will look in the future, and quite frankly, it's going to be interesting balancing the books for this month, but beyond that... things are a little atypical, but following down their usual path.
Right. Well, if you have any ideas, I'm sure Ajala would be happy to hear them.
I'll be honest, I am one for managing 1 or 2 barmaids. I had no idea I would have this many on my hands.
I hope you don't feel overwhelmed.
A little, but, I can handle it.
That's the spirit.
I've been thinking perhaps I should go out and speak to that tailor in the Armenian quarter, perhaps get ourselves a bit of a uniform.
Could be a good idea.
Could be. Although I have no idea what it would look like.
What it would...
What the uniform
Sorry?
would look like. I have no idea what concept to go with. I mean, there's so many.
I'm thinking red.
Red. Red could be good, yes. Vibrant. Brings an energy with it. Not as vibrant as yellow, but a little duller. But it could suit our purposes, yes.
I think that would be good.
As this conversation goes on, Ajala, you make your way upstairs.
Go to room 7 and knock on the door.
You knock on the door and it slightly gives out a bit of a creak as you realize it's unlocked.
Stepping inside.
You step inside to find an empty room. The door, or the window wide open and a cool breeze fluttering its way in. A half-eaten meal sits in a plate that's been there overnight, and the only thing that's fully missing is the block of cheese that went with it. There is no letter, there is no dagger in a table or anything of extreme semblance that is left, just simply a cool breeze and a cold meal.
I kind of expected. It's unfortunate, but kind of expected. I'm gonna quickly look outside, see if I can still see her in the street, but probably not.
As you look around, you quickly realize it's probably been hours since she left. As you see a dark, cold alleyway before you that leads into the busy, bustling streets.
Gonna leave the room again and close the door behind me.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna check up on Bucktruck's room real quick.
Alright. You make your way over to Bucktruck's room, and as you get to the door, it is locked.
I'll knock.
You knock a few times, and there is no answer.
The door is locked.
The door is currently locked, yes.
If there's no answer, then I'll leave this room again, and then as last, I would like to check Eleanor's room.
So you go to Eleanor's room, and I assume you have a spare key to it. But you go ahead and arrive at the door. Once again, the door is locked.
Knocking and opening it carefully.
You knock, quietly open it, and you would see that she's currently not in the room. It looks like she's done quite a bit of shopping, though, as there's quite a few like fresh veggies, some local look like they were hastily acquired plates and things like that, and glassware, things like that. There's also a pile of about 4 dishes that look like they've been gone through, and are just waiting for somebody to come by and pick them up to take them down to the kitchen. You can see that there's like a very rough setup in one of the corners where she's moved the bathtub and completely pushed it against the wall as best she can and set up her spinning wheel for her clay making.
Right.
There's also clothes all over the floor.
Well, at least she's up and about. Yeah, then I'll lock the door again and go back downstairs.
Mm-hmm. As you head downstairs, and you can spot Chimeg sitting at the bar, more than likely still in conversation with Fatma. You would actually see Eleanor walking in. She has a large wool sack in hand that she is carefully carrying, and you can tell there's some sort of large chunk of something within it that is formed into a perfect square that she is carefully making her way in and making her way towards the stairs with. Of course, not more paying attention to what she's carrying than anything around her, only really barely moving out of the way as people adjust their chairs and slightly get in her way.
Let me help you with that.
Oh, Ajala, hi! It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I'm glad that you're up and about.
She goes ahead and she begins to hand the wool sack over to you, and as you take it, you realize it is a large chunk of untampered with clay that is carefully wrapped. She says, if you could just help me get this to the room, that would be fantastic.
Well, I will, and I'll take over the sack and carry it upstairs.
Okay. So the two of you head back up the stairs and eventually get to her room. And as you were heading to her room, and eventually you would open the door, she says, "It's good to see you. I'll be honest. It's nice to see you.
Very much the same.
I've been eating well. I have been. I swear.
Good.
Sleep is a little difficult, though. I'll be honest. So that's why I decided to. I didn't go back to my shop. I bought a whole new wheel, and I'm still in the process of setting it up. But I figure if I start working again, maybe that will help. I won't be able to fire anything, unfortunately. But perhaps I can go down to. Perhaps I can go down towards. Well, 1 second. I'm gonna check that gate. Towards the Zion Gate, where I hear that there is a kennel, where I can fire some of this.
good to know. Yeah, about that, we might figure something out particularly soon as well. Might take a few nights, however. I'm just happy to see that you're up and about, and I'm glad that you're able to distract yourself like this.
Yeah, no,
Um,
distraction is good. Fatma received a bunch of people. He wanted me to let you know if I saw you before he did. I assume he saw you before I did, but you know, he a bunch of rather strapping looking men arrived, dingy and in chains, but arrived.
yeah, he told me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, glad to see you're up and about.
Just place that here, and she carefully has
Yep.
you place it on the table.
If there's anything you need, ask Fatma. I'm sure he's going to take good care of you as well.
Mm.
I'm going to try and find those people that arrived downstairs.
Buck Truck, I think was his name.
Yeah.
My neighbor said
seen
that
him?
said that he was going to find himself.
He was going to find himself.
Yes. I don't know what that meant.
Okay, but that is good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. He was kind of pale, and he looked like, well, I'll be honest, he kind of looked like one of the addicts that I've seen from time to time.
That is not great news.
But he wasn't like raving or anything like that, or he was very eloquent in his words, and he spoke well enough. Just looked like he needed a fix.
Something. Right. Thank you for letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave you to it. And I sort of exit the room and head back downstairs.
As you exit the room and get into the hallway, I assume you close the door behind you. The door creaks open once more, and she says, "Wine vase or flower vase?"
Wine vase.
Wine vase is a good choice. All right. Local mythology, Greek mythology.
Let's go with Greek.
Okay, I'll have to run by the Greek partiturate, but I think I can get that done. All right. I just need some reference material.
Right.
She closes the door again.
I chuckle and make my way downstairs. Sit
Your way
myself down
downstairs.
next to Chimeg.
Yep.
I would actually have wanted to go down into the cellar while he was away.
Okay. So yeah, you would have
Check on that.
wrapped up your small conversation with Fatma, and he would eventually let you down into the cellar. So Chimeg, while that conversation is going on, you make your way down, and you can quickly see that, or you can see as you walk down, they've brought quite a bit, or quite a few lanterns down here. You can see that. You assume most of the area was filled with barrels and crates. Most of that looks like it's been recently moved out of here and moved somewhere else. There are still like 4 large, far too large to move wine barrels that are stacked up against one wall, but they look like they're completely untapped. And there's some tapping equipment next to them. A few very simple, freshly constructed beds have been put into place, and Rafik is currently in the process of drill sergeant style getting everyone to get a set of clothing for when they go to sleep, a set of clothing for when they go to work, and a set of clothing when they just putter around and fuck around. He's getting. It looks like he has put what few belongings that they have neatly into appropriate dressers, and has shoved those dressers against the bottom of the bed. And and he's sort of breaking down their daily tasks for the day at the moment. As he
I'll
finishes
wait
wrapping up with one of the individuals, his eyes flicker over towards the entrance to see you, the new figure that he saw out of his peripheral, as he quickly perks up and makes his way over towards you. Oh, it is good to see you again. I have not been at your hip, as you instructed, unfortunately. However, it is kind of hard to follow one who runs as you do.
I understand. It's no worries. Seems like you kept yourself busy.
Yes, well, if I treat them like I treat young squires at the Lancers school, then it is simple. If I am to think about them, though, as normal people, that makes it much harder. So I think I will treat them as simple recruits.
I think that is somewhat the point.
Although I believe my instructor called it a curriculum. I will have to figure out exactly what that is and how one implements such. Although I don't know if I should be teaching these people how to fight or how to hold a drink.
I think a little bit of both is the plan,
A
actually.
bit of both.
Yeah.
Perhaps then I will need equipment. If that is the case. A training area, preferably. I mean, sure, I could make do, and he motions to the cellar that's here, and you can see that there's just enough room for their beds, the wine barrels that are here, the large table that's been moved in with the few dingy stools that have been moved in so that they have a place to eat, and a trough that has been set up in one corner. I mean, if I move the table out of the way and move it up the stairs every day, I could perhaps move a few straw dummies down here for practicing, but I think I would need more of a proper training area to get anything done. Plus, we would need horses, equipment for those horses, feeds for those horses, so on and so forth. And I am not exactly the most book-smart individual, but I can get it done. I just need, honestly, money and assistance.
Well, we will look into that. We were also discussing maybe making the cellar a bit bigger. But that might take a while.
Hmm.
But I'll look into equipment and a place to, well, train.
Well, if I remember correctly, when I was attached to your hip, the Jala, I believe his name is, mentioned an armory of a bedroom.
Right, yeah, he got that one. It should be here, actually. So we can go look, actually.
Kind of scratches
Let's
his
go
head.
find them.
Okay. Guess we'll just make our way into his
Oh.
room and get what we need.
Here, by the way, and I'll hold up the cup and if I've been able to put the point of blood as I move down.
Sure, absolutely. He takes it and he drinks it, and as the blood enters his system, his eyes kind of open wide, and he goes, "Ah, so are we doing this way instead?" This is what Kofi was talking about. Yes, it does. It tastes like a very odd wine. I don't see where he was getting this beautiful taste of whatever. It's decent, but you know.
All people
think
have
from the
different
tap is
tastes, I
better.
suppose. Well, I'll try not to be insulted.
No, from the tap is better.
You mean that tap? Oh,
Yes, that tap.
Let's find a Jala.
And he goes ahead and he follows you up the stairs. Hello, cat. As he follows you up the stairs, eventually the two of you would see Ajala. But before we get to that scene, Ajala, did you want to get anything done with the Fatma beforehand?
Not necessarily. I've had on him too recently still, I take it. And yeah, I'm just gonna, well, I would probably be making my way downstairs or to go downstairs as well when they come up from the basement.
Okay, so here's the scene that plays out. Chimag and Rafik begin making their way up the stairs. Ajala comes from the top of the stairs, making his way down the stairs. The three of you run into each other at the stairs, just at the exact same time that Cassandra is entering into the Painted Lady, and Fatma goes, I don't remember your name, I'm sorry, but I know your face.
Sandra.
She'll wave and say, don't worry, I think 3 drink will, heal my
Mend your
wounded
broken
ego
heart.
from that.
Yes. As he goes and he pours a drink and he puts it down on the table.
How have you been keeping?
I've been keeping well. If you are looking for Ajala and Chimeg, they are downstairs.
I'm coming back up, like the same second that I went down.
Gotcha. So Ajala pokes his head around the corner, and you see him peer from behind the doorway behind the bar.
They were coming back up behind me. So, yeah, I'm gonna make my way to the front of the bar again.
Well, here he is. Sorry. Things are going well. We have our new guests.
Ooh, and how's everything going with accommodating and training?
So far, Rafik is handling most of the details with that. I don't know. And the Rafik goes, yes, I'm handling most of the details. Ajala, we would like to raid your room. If it is permissible, we need equipment.
Ooh.
I think the plan was to have them a bit armed, right?
Yeah, they need to be able to protect this place if necessary. What's Cassandra, so...
Patna kind of looks over at this conversation and goes, you're arming them already?
Might be early. But
Well,
Rafik can handle that.
Well, little coffee has made friends with some people who have quite a lot of wares, should we need to bolster up our own. He also has some plans for some property to purchase in a certain area, which she'll describe the area by the sulfur and the place and ask, are you aware of anybody who has territory around those parts?
That is right on the border of
Oh.
Magdalena's territory and Restusi's. It's right in between them. They're pretty nice houses, though. We've seen those and been looking at those when we first entered town.
Who would we need to ask
With no
permission to
kind.
Sorry?
purchase property there?
Is it claimed?
I don't believe it was claimed when we last checked it. But yeah, I'm guessing that Magdalena and Restusi would be the people to talk to if they're all right with us becoming their very close neighbors.
Neighbours. It'd be polite to maybe check up with them, but that won't be for a few days. It's more like plans for the future. But yeah, Coffee says there's somebody who definitely he could grace to get some items from them. On that note, Rafik, and of course, if Chimeg is happy, he was looking for a potential bodyguard for this evening.
I just got
Right.
back on my mistress's hip. Already, you look to take me away.
You can say no. It's fine. I told him not to wait around long.
What is your decision, T-Mac?
Well, I was thinking that we should move towards the rack, and that could be rather dangerous.
That's true. I also give Rafik my room key and number. There's just one set of armor. It's actually perched in the corner on the right-hand side. That's mine.
Okay.
Besides that, yeah, take what you need.
Okay. So I will be right back, and he pops up the stairs.
Is it a bad idea to arm them? Sorry.
Maybe it's too early, but as if Rafik knows what he's doing.
Best way to train
funny.
them, surely he'd know.
Maybe some of them were in his unit with him. He will
Yeah, I'm
need
not
to
sure,
endurance
actually.
training. He can disarm them after, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Whatever case, we might have a problem with Backtrack. He left, saying that he needs to find himself.
Rafik quickly makes his way down the stairs, comes back towards Ajala and leans in towards Ajala and says, unfortunately, there are 3 sets of armor in your room. 1 is in the corner, 2 are on the bed, and there are quite a few weapons that look nice and silvery and shiny on the bed.
Oh,
Okay,
that's quicker delivery than expected
That
then.
is very
That
quick
was
delivery.
quick.
Yeah, let's have a look at those first, shall we?
Mm.
And start to pile upstairs, I guess.
While they look at armor, Cassandra wants to look at the barkeep and look over some books and give some business pointers.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and if you're just giving business pointers...
Well, basically the beginnings of something that she'll do a lot thoroughly in the future.
Sure. Perception and Seneschal. Difficulty 6.
Seneschal, difficulty 6. And
And
I've
your
got
specialty,
specialty 6.
which will kick into this.
Yeah, specialty.
Alright, so that becomes 5. Okay.
So that's 5 successes.
So with 5 successes, you look over and you can see that he's very clearly been spending too much on exports. Or sorry, not exports, imports of wines from outside of the local region.
Yes, you there?
Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Hold on, folks. 1 second.
An issue apparently.
Hello. How are you?
We're offline from the stream as well.
We're offline from the stream? Uh-oh.
No, the stream is not offline. The cameras are offline.
The cameras are offline.
Okay, now they're back.
Now they're back. Fantastic. Sorry about that glitch, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize. He's clearly been putting too much money towards imports, and that's sort of been slowly bleeding him over time. He has done well, from what you can see, with local breweries and things like that. And while he does make a decent amount from the imports, it's nowhere near what he needs to make to actually make a profit from them. At the rate that he's going, he will eventually end up in debt if he continues his importing habits.
She will explain to him, like, unless you are getting something on the extra on the side for funsies of imports, I don't think you should be doing it this way. And she'd probably give some pointers on to how to get a better deal, or be like, I can talk for them if you want. Otherwise, Painted Lady will, well, be pretty much a chalk drawing on the sideboards very soon if you keep on keeping this up.
Right, so I need to change my habits with importing alcohol. Fine. So now I need to go out and find a whole new vineyard. All right, great.
Well, Kat said, can she give tips and tricks on how to cut better deals? Maybe. I said it sounds like the local brewery is just a way to go for the moment. But
sure.
Yeah, she'll happily give tips and trips, or even offer to get him some better deals in his stead.
Yeah, we'll say that's included in your successes, so you don't have to make a separate roll for that. But as that conversation is going on, Chimeg, Ajala, you make your way upstairs to Ajala's room, and as you open it, you would see that not everything you requested is there. Only the armor is there, and only the basic silver weapons are there. The magical blade, not available currently.
Yeah, but that's Cecilia's anyway, and I would figure that takes longer. Is the rest of all the materials that we had from the battle and everything, is that also still in the room?
Yeah, that's it. Jala, your room is slowly becoming a hoarder's closet. There's barely any room to walk at this point.
Okay. Yeah, let's check the new armor and weapons.
Checking over things, it looks like you got general purpose armor that simply was made that specific way, and was probably made a while ago, but it has the proper implementation so that it can be adjusted to the individual. Because, you know, not every armorer can get it perfect. But of course, there is always room in the future to take this to a different armor, or possibly even go back to that armor and have it resized with the person who's going to be wearing it for perfection.
Well,
How many
let's-
armors were there?
I believe there's only 2.
And the third set is my own normal composite armor.
Correct.
Shall we
I'll-
gear up in this?
Yeah. I think that sounds good. I'll pick up my saber.
All right,
It's there.
fantastic. Pick it up. It's got pretty good balance on it. A little bit weightier than you're used to with a saber due to the materials, but it still has a decent enough balance.
And the arrows, are they also there?
The arrows are available. Yeah, those were the quick. Those were the easiest thing to make, honestly.
All right.
So,
Well, just in time.
right before we head into the wolf's den, so to speak.
So, are both of you taking these sets of armor, or is only one of you taking the sets of armor?
I'm not
a set
taking
of
armor.
Okay.
Sorry?
Chimeg's not taking it. What about you, Ajala?
I'm gearing up in a set of silvered
Okay.
armor as well.
So you go ahead and gear up in it. It's a little heavier than you're used to, but like glistening mithril, you pick it up, and it has a beautiful shine to it.
This is going to stand out a little. I might want
It
to
is.
get a dark cloak with this.
Hmm.
Do I still have a dark cloak in here
But
somewhere?
you have a dark cloak that is readily available.
I will toss that over the silver armor.
Mhm.
It's composite armor, correct?
Yes.
Alright. Do I still have a leftover small shield in here as well?
There's a brand spanking new small shield. There's 2 small shields, 2 spears in here.
Alright, so I will take one of
I'll
those.
take
and
one of those.
the silvered spear is here as well?
Correct.
And a short sword as well?
Mhm.
I'll take those.
Like I said, the only thing that's not here is that magical blade.
Yeah, and then there's also a normal spear here, if I'm not mistaken.
There are 2 normal spears in your room.
Take one of those as well.
Yeah.
So I have 2 spears on my back now and a short sword
Okay.
on my lower back.
Walking is a little awkward now, but you can manage it.
Yeah. I'll leave the bow in the room. I haven't used that in ages anyway, so... yeah, leaving the short bow in the room, and I'll just go out with these. Yeah, I'll tell Rafik that anything but the silver weaponry is available for training or use, and I also ask him if it is wise to start with armoring them this soon.
Armoring them? No. I'm going to give them crossbows with blunt tip rounds. Blunt tip bolts. That's all I'm giving them. We'll work on the fundamentals, then we go up.
Alright. Sounds like you know what you're doing. I'll leave that spare key with you then. Or you can ask the spare key of Fatma downstairs, he must have one.
Looking through your equipment, how many crossbows do you have?
I had from the knights, I had about 6 crossbows in good conditions, and I had 1 barrel of 100 bolts, 5 long swords, and that's from the battle with the Templars.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Ages
he's going to
ago.
go ahead and take all those crossbows, so mark that off, and he's going to take half the bolts.
Alright. What
So,
we
yeah.
got from the battle at the Dead Sea, I have no clue.
That has not arrived. And
Because
I
we-
struggle to think of where exactly you're going to place all of it. So,
Yeah, I do remember that I loaded up our cart with a lot of shit as well, but we didn't define what particular shit.
correct. Yeah.
It was arms, armor, all at random basically, so yeah, I'm gonna guess there's a bit of everything there, but...
Right. Like I said, your room is a fucking
Is-
hoarder's stockpile.
filled up to the brim with weapons and armor.
Mm.
Yeah, it is currently the armory.
Mhm.
Rather than my room. But yeah. I'm gonna step outside again and make my way downstairs in the dark cloak.
You are so lucky that you guys are in a middling establishment, not a poor establishment. Because if this was a poor establishment, oh
This
my
would
god, the
stick out.
field day that thieves would have with your fucking room.
Yeah. There's just a preposterous amount in there.
You're gonna crash the local stock market and just pour arms and armor. Like, everything's
onto
gonna
it
go
if
to
I ever
shit with
want to,
value.
Yeah. Once I get back downstairs, I go and sit at the bar again. I'm taking it Cassandra and Fatma are still going over the books.
Does Cassandra want to get anything else done while she's down there?
She'd be asking about books, asking about local gossip,
Mhm.
probably seeing if she scrolls up 15 pages to find if Lagoa is around. Apart from that, I don't
Is
think so.
Lagua the very glistening, very tall African woman?
Statuesque, stunning, lights up a room.
Yes. I believe she came around the other night. Yeah, very briefly. She took a look around, didn't see you, I guess, and headed out.
Aw, pity. I have to keep an ear out for her.
Do you want to perhaps leave a message so that if she pops in, I can tell her something?
Double question. You said the other night. Yesterday was the same night they first met here. So
Correct.
she. Okay, in
She
that
popped
case, she'd
in.
ask
Mhm.
again.
Mhm.
Okay, she'd ask what time.
It was very close to dawn. Like, very close. Like maybe 20 minutes before dawn.
Yeah. Please let her be aware that she can leave any message. Sure, Cassandra will very quickly give you 2 seconds. She'll go up to her room and write a little note to Lagua using her own blood as ink. As is, I think is going to be Cassandra's little telltale sign, but it's from her now. Just basically being like, you can leave messages here for me, and basically let me know where I can meet you, kind of a thing. Blah 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 blah. And
Okay.
she'll give out like, yeah, if she's coming around again, and if she happens to want to see me, just let her know. But
I can do
that
that.
is
Yeah.
what I've missed out. Thank you.
And just about the time that you're like finishing coming down the stairs and handing over all that to him is the time that Ajala and Chimeg finish coming down the
Clunks
stairs.
down the stairs in
Yeah.
their silver armor. Oh,
Meg doesn't have armor.
The Rafik rushes by with a bundle of crossbows in his hand and just makes his way into the back room.
oh, are we're going that way tonight?
Blunt bolts.
Is there another set up there as well? Another set of very clunky looking armor? Okay.
Yeah.
She'll look to one of them. Can one of you guys help me?
Okay, cool. Of
I
course.
haven't mastered the shimmy.
Oh.
Thank you.
And we'll talk when we're back downstairs with Fatma about this place and everything, and yeah, let's go
You
get your armor
guys
first.
go do that. I want to have a talk with Rafik.
All right. I'll go to help with the armor.
Cassandra, Ajala, you retire up to the room once more to do the shimmy shake of putting on composite armor that involves chainmail. And meanwhile, Rafik pops downstairs for a little bit and then pops back up the stairs looking like he's about to head back for the stairs to go collect those bolts.
Rafik, do you have a moment?
Yes, of course.
Let's go to my room.
Ah, very well.
Down, up, down.
Makes his way up the stairs like he intended anyways.
Yeah, and I'll go into the room and close when he comes in.
You hear from Ajala's room, shing, 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 of like the shimmy shake.
So, did I tell you about the werewolves?
I want to
I did,
say
right.
that in the back of my head you have warned me about furry creatures in the night in Jerusalem, yes.
Right.
And something about naked women.
Right. They're the same thing actually.
I
It's different
beg to
form.
differ?
In this case, the werewolves that are probably our biggest issue are also naked women,
Yes.
not the other way around. Well, I suppose, you know what, sit down, I'll
He looks
give
around at your
you...
rather barren room that, and pulls on the stool that sits underneath the writing desk that looks like it's never been used, and he brushes it off a little bit and sits down in it. And it's like, unfortunately, it's like one of those really small stools. It's not one of the proper height ones, so he's like an inch lower than he should be, and his knees are like halfway in his stomach.
He's probably on level with T-Meg then.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I gave you the short version.
Okay.
Then I have really no idea what the long version is, but where we are something that are commonly referred to as Canaanites. Well,
His
our
face kind of
kind.
scrunches up at when you say that, and goes, Canaanites.
Yes. Is the at this time is the like the boogeyman term, is that vampire or?
Oh Jesus.
Or what's the
Baba Yaga and vampires and stuff like that. It depends on what culture you're in, really. I don't know if there is a Persian or Arabic or Egyptian version of vampires in their mythology at this time period. So I'm going to say yes,
Right.
just to be safe.
I think we're more commonly known as vampires.
Ah, vampires, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You are not vampire. You do not, you do not have aversion to, what is it called? Super rare here. Garlic.
No, I don't think that's a thing actually.
And, yeah, you don't smell like a grave.
No.
Your flesh
I
is not
guess-
rotting.
No, but I
You
do
are a
sustain
little cold to
myself
the
on
touch,
blood.
which is a little unsettling, you know. But, you know.
Right. Well, I suppose there are some things that aren't exactly true about us, but there are others that are. I need blood instead of food. I can't actually eat
That
food
does
or
not sound
drink
very
anymore.
healthy. That doesn't sound healthy whatsoever.
Well, it
Aren't you afraid you're going to
sort
get
of
like
is.
so skinny that you'll be like those lepers when they don't eat for a long time, you know, because they're now homeless and lepery, and they get all skinny and wrinkly and bony.
Well, let's put it like this. I haven't had a solid meal for almost 2 months now, I think.
Yes, this does not sound healthy. Perhaps what we need to do is okay. So you need blood, yes. So perhaps we take a cow. Yes, we cut the cow, and we just give you the raw meat. Problem solved. Now you get the blood, and also you get protein.
Suppose I haven't tried that actually.
That sounds a lot healthier than what you're doing. This whole liquid diet thing. It does not sound good. I have seen the man who went on a liquid diet. It did not turn out well for him.
No, well,
He had
I wouldn't
diarrhea for
recommend it.
weeks.
Well, I kind of every time I try to eat something, I just spew it back up. I gain some things and I lose other things. And
So if I am
one
to
of the
become better
things-
than human, I will eventually lose my appetite for food?
Not necessarily.
No?
Well, what you are now are not what we are necessarily.
But I am
You're
to become eventually better than human like you, yes?
you're already sorry. You're already becoming better than human. If you will become like me, I suppose time will tell.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure I understand, but okay.
I actually don't really know how one becomes like me. Actually, I'm rather new at this, actually.
Well, if I do become like you, I would prefer if I could retain my ability to eat. I am a big fan of camel meat kabsa. I'm just saying. I do not
Well,
exactly want to lose the ability to have that.
some people are still able to eat. The
Oh,
rest of
so
my friends are.
you just have not retained this ability.
I suppose so. I suppose I don't really see the point of it. I've spent a long time when I woke up like this, not eating because I didn't need to. Maybe
Make
that's
me
why
a
I lost it.
perception expression.
Okay.
Is there successes? So you don't notice immediately. But you watch for the briefest of moments as his eyes go a little wide as you say that. But you can't tell exactly what he's thinking in the moment. As he kind of just goes a little silent as you continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, as I said, I lose some things, but I also gain other things. I actually don't. I lost all my memories when I become like this. And I don't think everyone does that, but I did.
So you have lost your memories, you have lost the ability to eat normal food, and you have gained better than human powers. This does not sound like the best trade-off. I don't know.
I was chosen by the gods. In those cases, you have to put some things. You have to lose some things. Maybe to prove yourself, maybe to become something more, I don't know. But I've accepted it.
When you say gods, I assume you do not speak of, how you say, Allah, or God.
No.
They are of different religion. Interesting. You are what?
I'm of the Tengri faith.
Anyway, think I have heard of that, mainly coming from the Turkish steppes area, yes?
Yes.
Okay, alright, interesting. As much as my teachings would tell me to hate you because of your religion, I personally do not follow such versions. Uh, but you could say that is partially due to my love of food from all cultures.
There are many gods in the world. I'm sure the other of my kinds heavily blessed by their gods. I don't know how it works.
I am no master of theology myself, so I will not presume to know the will of God or any other gods that may or may not exist. And whether they do or not, I do not know. But if you say that you are chosen by the gods, then alright, you are chosen by the gods. Quick question, which gods in particular?
Well, I don't know, but I think Tengri. It's
Okay.
yes, it's hard to describe. It's more like an knowledge than something instinct, I suppose, is a better.
So you just know that you are chosen by the... I get what you say. Yes. Is perhaps... I apologize if I keep going back to the same thing, but perhaps could we work on the food thing? You know, maybe just small things here or there. Maybe we try and keep it down. It is bothering me. Food is the gateway to the soul.
I suppose I don't have
Or is
any
it to the
memories
heart?
of food.
It was
so...
either to the soul or to the heart. I do not remember which. But it is a gateway, either way. And you have lost this gateway. Even though you have been chosen by the gods, I am sure that the gods would not want you to go without camelback Casca.
I haven't tried it, I think. Well, I can't remember.
It's actually camel
But-
meat Casca, but my bad. Anyways.
I can try, I suppose. But regardless, I've lost a few things, but I've gained a lot more. I am stronger than any human. And few things that could stop me. Well, you've seen that I can turn into animals, and
Do you know how this animal turning into power works? Do you get to choose every time what you turn into? Could you, for instance, turn into a cat?
I haven't tried. It's all come rather instinctively to me.
Well, I was going to then ask if you could, then perhaps you have to see the animal in order to turn into it, and if that is the case, perhaps we can find you an image of a lion.
I will be up for trying.
I think we should try this. We should try to work on getting you the ability to eat food once more, because food is a beautiful thing, and we should see if we can turn you into a lion.
That does sound like a good plan.
Well, I am set on my path. I know what I must do. Allah has spoken to me through Tingri, yes, through Tingri, as to what I shall do. In the meantime, am I to bodyguard this idiot, Kofi? I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a cute little noble, but...
Not sure what he needs to be bodyguard from.
Right? I mean, can the man handle himself or not?
I mean, he was part of the army, was he not?
Exactly my point. Yes, he was, if I remember his uniform correctly, he was a Nubian archer. Okay, maybe it makes sense that he was... Alright, no, I take it back. Perhaps he is not used to, he's used to the core of an army being in front of him as he rains arrows upon our enemies. This makes sense now why he would want a bodyguard. He's going back to the roots of his teachings.
Would make sense. But I'm still not sure what he needed it for, but I'll talk to Cassandra. You did have some things to do here still.
Well,
Set up your training.
yes, I'd like to get the equipment stored away so that way we can use it in future. We will begin, lessons, things like that within the next few days. Like I said, either getting my hands on a training area, or perhaps I could go into see what the area surrounding this building looks like. And perhaps we could wall some things up, get ourselves an area that is appropriate for what we need. Yes, I don't know.
That would be good. I would also suggest that you try to push your limits a bit.
What do you
You
mean?
should be, well, you should be affected by my blood and see if you, well, are stronger or can take more punishment.
Well, I have found that I am stronger after I lifted a bed with one hand, but that is,
Alone.
either that is, not to brag, my intense training regimen, or perhaps the gifts of better than human.
I'm sure it's a little bit of both.
Gear, if we want to call it that.
But
Um,
just keep in mind that this is very close quarters discussions. I told you that, right?
we are certainly not able to have these discussions outside of the confines of somewhere secretive unless we are on the road together, and even then, when others are around, we are to be quiet. As long as we can keep the conversation between us two, it is perfectly fine, but if others have the chance of overhearing, we must keep our mouths shut, yes?
Yes.
This makes
And
sense.
the rest of my coterie, well, Jala, Cassandra, and Cecilia,
How
they're
much do you trust
our
these other
group.
individuals?
Sometimes I wonder if I trust them more than I should. But I think I trust them.
That is good. If you don't mind, I will err on the side of caution for now. I will not trust them so willingly. And perhaps in the future, if I see that they treat you well and have the ability to do good deeds, both for themselves and also benefiting for you, then perhaps I will see about trusting them.
Well, we are on the same side.
Being on the same side is not the same as trust.
That's true.
Just because a jihad for Allah has been called does not mean that you should always pick up the blade and answer the call. Depending on the man who called it, perhaps this is not a jihad truly for Allah, but instead for the greed of the silver mines. If you get my meaning.
I do. It's hard to know what true divinity is and what is greed. Even for oneself.
Well, either way, I think your friends will become suspicious if we stay in this room together any longer.
Yes. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Certainly. Meanwhile, bit of a rewind of time. You shimmy shake into the armor. And is there anything that you guys would like to get done in the 25-minute conversation that takes place between Rafik and Chimeg? Because that takes a while.
Jala will be making clear to because I'm so fantastic at names.
Fatma?
Fatma, indeed, because of course I forget his name despite knowing it. That Cassandra is also part of the coterie, of course, and that she's also, as in, you were more into business-related things, right, Cassandra? Or did I?
She
Not
made that
the
very
one.
clear. She has shown me the error of some of my purchasing habits.
Good. because whatever we can do to improve upon this place, we should do. Of the winnings from the battlefield, do we have a number on what came in?
Yes, the number is
X.
3 dots in resources. And he
Oh,
will give
oh,
you
oh.
what that translates to in world, which I'm not sure the exact numbers of.
Yeah.
So
I'm basically asking him to put that on the table. Well, not literally, but the amount. And then I'll look at Cassandra. Do you think that we can start using that to expand on the basement downstairs? Because I have some plans for that. And perhaps we could buy up some of the real estate directly behind here or to the side to upgrade the place. Perhaps increase on the rooms, get a bit similar business going as the slaughter docks, perhaps with getting in some girls, getting in some boys, that sort of thing. He's basically asking Cassandra for her opinion and for Fatma's ideas as well.
Does Cassandra think that? Do I need to do a roll to see if she thinks that's a good business move?
So I want you to make me an intelligence seneschal. Difficulty 6 on that. As you go over the numbers in your head.
Intelligence, seneschal. Okay, 6 again.
Mm-hmm. How?
How?
Why? I knew I with how many dice?
8.
Wow.
I knew.
There's
I knew
it was
ones in there.
8 dice!
Not even a willpower would have saved that. A willpower wouldn't have even saved that.
No.
There's two
God, I didn't
successes
bother.
There
in
is 2
there.
successes in there, luckily.
It
All
doesn't
right,
matter. Oh,
Cassandra, you think with this amount of money, you could buy the entire Christian quarter. This is your time.
She will go and start saying about how the expansion can go and how, we don't even need to just have the girls be here. We could buy an entirely separate building down the road. Probably, I'm guessing, of that many botches. Let's have it in the most blaspheming place as possible, directly opposite the fucking church of that many botches, right?
Yeah.
Let's get those. You sin, you confess, you sin.
Okay, you're way more enthusiastic than I expected this to go.
And she thinks it's brilliant, and she'll go into all the ways, but obviously.
Yeah, she starts breaking down in detail all the perfect plans that could be made with this kind of money, all the various different forms of revenue that you could make so that you could make even more money that are totally not schemes 100%, totally not schemes that she heard on the road on her way here.
There will be MLMs all over the place.
Uh-oh. Ah, there we go. And apparently Cassandra has become the DM once more. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. The cameras have been fixed. Woo! So as Cassandra runs off this litany of details about what you can do to maximize your potential with your money and buy the entire Christian quarter and truly revolutionize it to be a modern symbol of money making, we are going to go ahead and take our break, and we will be right back with more Children of the Cup. See you soon, folks.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Children of the Cup. All right, bringing us back into the scene. So, Cassandra finishes her litany of wonderful things that you could all buy with the coin available to you now.
The amount that was named and the amount that she is talking about investing, even to Ajala, who seems to be a bit of a... does that seem excessive at all or not?
I mean, 100 gold seems excessive to you, let's be honest.
There. Okay, but where do we start? As in, do we close the place down for a few days or a few weeks while we start upgrading everything?
I mean, wouldn't we need to hire contractors first? Someone to do the actual work?
Have manual labor at hand.
Sure, we have the manual labor, but someone to plan the expansion. Someone
we need an
to
architect.
draw up the plans. Yes, an architect.
We'd need to find one. Might not be the worst idea. For the basement, though, I do think I have a specialist for that in mind.
You know someone who usually works in basements?
Yeah. We all do. But yeah. Well, I think I'll contact him about expanding on the basement, and then we can talk to an architect to do everything above ground. I'm guessing.
Okay. Interesting.
Is G-Mag back yet?
No. No, even with the litany of stuff.
Right, I guess it's up to us to find the architect then, at some point. However, first things first, when G-Mag gets back, we're going to hit the rack, I believe, and go and look for her people. I would also this night like to either talk to brother, whatever his name was, or Adam, the Cappadocian.
Susie. Oh no, not Rastuzi.
Not
Who's
Father
what was that?
Rastusi, Brother Bernard.
Brother Bernard, yeah.
Who are they? Who's Bernard?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's Bernard? I'm not familiar.
Brother Bernard is someone that Father Rastusi knows. I don't know entirely sure if I've seen him before, possibly, but apparently both him and Adam know more about Habiba's hiding places. So if we're ever gonna find Serafino, that would be a good one to start with. Also, if we pass the microbrewery, I also want to check up on the Dead Drop and on Buzra. Buzra might have some ideas on what we might do with the basement here, and maybe he would work for us to basically expand the basement.
Sounds good, cool.
Alright then.
It's about at this time that Chimag finally comes down the stairs. Rafik can tell.
Alright. So, everything went well?
No. But it'll work out. Oh, by the way, Rafik, take these weapons and I'll hand over the silver shield and the spears to him.
He kind of takes them and he looks at them and he goes, huh, silver. It's usually very hard to sharpen, but alright.
It's not for people.
What's the plan now?
We still need to hunt, so I would start with that, and then look for your people.
Yeah.
You know to use the individuals downstairs.
I would, perhaps.
How many were there downstairs?
I would have to ask Cecilia. Slaves or us?
5, I think. I would say.
7 at the Painted Lady.
7.
At the moment. But yeah, they don't know, so we're gonna have to be subtle about that. I don't think the current circumstances really borrow themselves perfectly for that. I don't know. I've not been downstairs.
Just go down there and be like, hey, we're going to give you a physical. Come upstairs very quickly. You know.
Right. I'll. If you don't mind, I'll go first.
Save some for me.
Who? Cassandra, do I save any for you?
I want to
Or
try and get more used to your methods, so yes, please.
You have a different method of...
right?
We sort of have the same idea that you had.
I'll go downstairs. Also have a look at the space while I'm down there. If not here, then I think there's another place. In the tavern, like I'll ask for it.
Well, there is the upstairs of the back room, which is where the kitchen is. And there's also a bit of a pantry in there. But you would see that there's currently a worker back there just slaving away. But you could easily ask them to step out.
Let's get them in one at a time. I'll go downstairs. The Nubian that is as close to my semblance as possible, I'm gonna ask him upstairs.
Okay.
And I'll pick out another one that I fancy the look of slightly and tell him to come up next.
Okay.
And I'll take the back room. I'll pretend like I'm doing a physical, asking them to lift something, perhaps see if they're any strong, whatever. And if I find a moment to pick, I'll bite the other Nubian in the neck.
All right. Fantastic. It's not uncommon for people to inspect any new slaves that they happen to get. So you just go under that guise and go ahead and begin looking over him. And as you ask him to lift something in the room, you go ahead and you bite.
All right, and I'm going to take 2 points of blood from him. The third
Fantastic.
being for the bonus thingy.
Yes, the third from your efficient digestion.
And after he's done, I'll be like, all right, and then the next one. And I'll repeat the process.
So he woozily makes his way towards the stairs and doesn't entirely understand what happened, but he makes his way down the stairs, and another one makes his way up. And I assume you repeat the process.
Repeat the process.
Okay, how many do you go through?
2 points as well.
All right.
And after that, I'll step out into the bar again, and I'll sit down next to Chimeg and Cassandra. Yeah, you wanted me to keep some backup, so I feel I should only take a nibble to start with.
While you're in the back performing physicals, quote unquote, Rafik actually leans over to Chimeg. What do you mean?
She... You know what? It's probably something you should ask her about.
Do I send someone else up?
Okay, in the regards to... Is she not on liquid diet?
No, she can eat solids, I believe.
Very good, very good. So, Cassandra, you watch as the two of them break from their little whispering session, and Rafik just sort of, with no poise or tact whatsoever, makes his way over to you, leans heavily against the counter of the bar and says, "So I hear that you are not on liquid diet."
not quite.
I see.
Working
Well,
on it.
seeing as you are able to enjoy the beauties and the passion that is food, I would like you to perhaps teach the mistress how to enjoy the solid.
I can definitely try. If the mistress can help me enjoy the liquid diet. You know,
I see, an
swapsies.
exchange of information. Yes, this sounds very good, very good. I would like this very much. After all, I feel one has not lived until they have had camel meat Casca, and it is simply not possible in her current state. So,
Can you get that around here, or is that something you can whip up for us?
it's something that I could get here. I'd need to get certain ingredients, such as a, fairly young camel, but I could get that here, yes.
So you consider yourself very seasoned in the culinary fields, then, yes?
One of my specialties in the army, yes.
Have you ever prepared mountain oysters?
Mountain oysters. Is this not just the balls of oxen and bull?
So you are aware. Have you
I
ever
am
prepared
aware
them?
of the myth, yes. You are supposed to
Myth?
fry them, and yes, they are supposed to be
Oh,
very
so it's just
delicious.
a joke. It's not real. Oh,
No, it is a thing. I have never personally seen or enjoyed such. So it's a bit of a high legend where I am from. I am from the Euphrates, and we do not have the how you say resources to waste on such luxuries.
I'm sure that we can change that.
But if I did perhaps run across such unique ingredients, and I perhaps got the proper frying oils that could make this a delicious meal, I would have to do a little research into what exactly you pair mountain oysters with, and upon that I could then perhaps create a dish.
Keep me updated.
Yes, very well. One moment, and he makes his way over to Shemek. So she is willing to teach you how to maintain solids if you are willing to teach her how to maintain liquids. I do not know exactly why she has an issue with liquids, but apparently the methods are different. So perhaps an exchanging of information and an exchanging of culinary speciality with mountain oysters could facilitate the necessary requirements to have you one day enjoy the beauty that is camel meat Casca.
Very well, I will try. Worth try.
He does like a double thumbs up to Cassandra.
Can I please get willpower back for that? Technically,
Yes,
thank
I will
you.
allow it. I will allow it. Actually, take 2 willpower because of your evil scheme that only I know about. So, how dare you is what I want to say, but you know.
Introduced me to that. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I guess I'll send someone else up for the others.
Okay. So, you go ahead and get the next subject ready and willing, as it were, quote unquote. You appear from the back room and let Shemek and Cassandra know that you are done feeding for now.
Well, I will... Oh, sorry.
Who's going next?
I suppose?
I'll send
No,
someone else
I
up.
don't. Thank you. I'll probably need 3.
Jala just drops his hand on the counter, like, really, in his face, not saying it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding back
Good
here,
enough.
and then you, sure, 3. Send up the next. I'll shout down.
The next one begins bumbling their way up the stairs.
Yeah.
Rafik, of course, guards the door, and as the individual makes his way at the top of the stairs, he sort of shoves him in the direction of the kitchen and says, "Go along. You're physical." He closes the door between the kitchens and the rest of the establishment, pushing Ajala respectfully out of the room.
Yeah, I'll step out, like...
And Ajala, sort of the last things that you can hear is the sound of Rafik's voice. "Now go ahead and turn around, lift up your arms. We are going to check for any wounds." And he sort of gives a nod towards Chimag.
Just quick question. This is not considered hunting, is it?
No, it is not. So actually, this
No.
is going to go against your path, I believe, because I believe that's one of your sins.
Oh, this would be considered hunting.
Well,
Because
it still goes
my
against your
sin
road
is-
because you have not ritualistically prepared beforehand. Isn't that correct? Don't you have a sin that
it's
says...
hunting without ritual preparation. I don't know if this would be hunting
Then
or
it
if
doesn't
this...
count because it's not hunting.
Okay, then we're good.
And these are... This is too easy to be hunting.
Yeah. These are factory sheep being led to the slaughter machine, only this time the machine just gives them a little nibble and lets them go again.
All right.
They can repair in the meanwhile.
Then Chimay will, a bit awkwardly, take some blood. She will just take 2 points of this one, making it 3. And then if I can get 1 more to take 2, and then 1 point from the third.
Okay.
That's possible.
You notice that as you are feeding from the first individual, Rafik is like in detail staring at everything that you do.
That's fine.
But yeah, he just moves that one along, brings up the next one. "Lift up your arms, we check for wounds," yada yada yada. Gives him the same line of bullshit as he leads the eventual third one up. You feed once more, close the wounds, send him down.
Cassandra, you were wanting to go in as well, correct? Should one of us
Yes.
come with?
Absolutely. I don't mind who. Chimay or you, either or.
If you want, we can both be there, just in case.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Rafik actually opens the door to the kitchen, and he motions for Cassandra to come through as he calls for the next person to come up.
Alright. I'm gonna follow inside as well, just in case.
Okay. Rafik kind of gives you that, like, 2-second stand between the door before he finally relents and opens the door further for you to come in.
Thank you.
Not a problem. And I'll stand against the wall somewhere, just observing.
And
Cassandra, a victim is brought before you. Rafik yells
Yeah.
out for them to lift up their arms and to make a circle, and the individual begins to do so.
And when Cassandra sees an opportunity that isn't particularly cumbersome, she will go in for the bite, and I will spend willpower to try and keep this slop down, I guess. Just kind of be like, okay, I've got 2 people here, and I'm not gonna throw up in front of him. Like, I gotta keep it down. It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be nice. It will be fucking nice. Like, you know, it's like it will be enjoyable, right? Totally.
And as you spend that point of willpower and you begin to consume the blood, you get this sort of spine-tingling revulsion within you that wants to puke it up, but you manage to keep it down, and it's not that it doesn't taste good. It's just something within you wants to, with every fiber of your being, tell you that this is wrong. This is not the way that you were supposed to feed, and yet you manage to keep it down. Noticing that you are having a little bit of a internal struggle, Rafik quickly moves over to the individual, pats them on the back of the, or on their back, and then quickly moves them towards the stairs and says, "Send up the next one."
Making sure the wound is sealed as well. Chimeg.
Rafik will. So Chimeg, you stop Rafik as he's about to push this individual down, because Rafik was not exactly caring about that particular portion.
And Cassandra isn't aware.
Yeah, but he looks at what you begin to point out, and he goes, yes. One moment, let me see your eyes. Let me see your eyes. And he sort of motions behind him with his finger for you to take care of the wound. Cassandra, you're unsure of exactly what he is motioning towards. You do see where the mark of your fangs are, but that shouldn't be odd.
I'll
Actually, oh, sorry.
To Cassandra, you have to close the wound by licking it. Oh, very low in her ear. Yes.
We got healing tongues. Does that work for everything? Okay.
I don't know for everything. No. But go ahead.
She'll look it closed apparently.
So as you do that, and Cassandra, you watch as this wound just seals itself close. Rafik then takes him and says, "You have very strong eyes. Very good. Go ahead and get down there." And you can hear at the bottom of the steps another individual making their way up. He says, "Should I perhaps pause the next one coming up to give you a moment, or?"
I don't need any more. I don't know if anybody else needs any more.
Okay, well, how about we bring the last few up? That way we don't look any suspiciously, you know?
Yes, bring them up, as in one by one. If the rest of you are fine, then I will continue feeding.
So, in that case, he will go ahead and bring that next individual up the stairs, set them aside, have them begin going through the motions. And does Ajala or Chimeg want to feed any more? I know that Ajala wants to. Does Chimeg want to? No? Okay, in that case, Ajala, you go ahead and you feed again. Taking 2, getting 3 because of your digestion. That individual is then sent back down. And you can see, Cassandra, that when he also licks the wound closes entirely as he sends that individual down the stairs.
I think that was the last
Cassandra?
one, correct?
Oh, there's one more. And he goes ahead and calls that individual up. And if no one needs to feed, he'll just, okay, you'll go ahead and still take 2. So you go ahead and do that. You close the wound. Sends him down. All right, you have all passed physical. None of you need to be slaughtered. He closes the door.
So now all of those will need to recover.
Yes.
I will say in the group.
Mm-hmm.
That should be
How long
fine.
does that take?
Sorry?
How long does that take?
Not entirely
Well, it
sure.
should theoretically take as long as it would take if you were stabbed, you know? So maybe like 4 or 5 days, then you're good to go. But in the meantime, you're like, oh, I've been stabbed, you know?
Don't have to heal the wound though, so maybe it will be slightly quicker.
Could be quicker. I'm not entirely sure. I am not a medicine man, but
I
this
do
is
think
my
it mainly
estimation.
has to do with blood loss. Not really the biting part.
Yeah.
How was it, Cassandra?
I'm gonna make a... Go ahead, Cassandra.
Still feel a bit queasy, like it just feels wrong. I still just want to cash it on up, but I mean I didn't, so yay. And
That's strange. That sort of sounds like when I try to eat food.
so maybe that's just what, you know, if you ever want to try and eat food, we'll do it somewhere private. It's just, I don't know, it just feels like you really have to focus about what you enjoy about it, and just you're not coming back up. I don't know how to describe it.
She will kind of lower her voice and like glance over to Rafik and whisper to Cassandra. Not really sure why. What's the point though? We don't need it.
No. She'll also whisper back. I can just pretend that you have, if that will help you. But
We'll see how it
Meanwhile,
goes, I
I'm
guess.
just popping a few grapes from the counter nearby and just eating them.
Mm-hmm. And Rafik he's just like being a little inquisitive as he closes the door, and he says, I heard that in Alexandria, several years ago, they sometimes use leeches to help with sick patients. And usually they give them something with fruit, some sort of citrusy fruit afterwards, and that is supposed to help. It's just
Good
a
to
rumor,
know.
though.
We should inquire about that. That might be
Wouldn't hurt.
interesting to have them healed faster. Anyway, I'm still a bit peckish. Shall we head out to the rack soon?
mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
still
I've just
peckish?
fed from
How are you still
4
peckish?
people?
Oh, there's one thing you should know about him. He needs a lot.
I pat my stomach and like,
Are
I'm
you
always
actually
hungry.
hungry, or are you like nippish?
Kind of on the edge of
Hungry nippish?
slightly more peckish than actually nippish.
More peckish? Then you should not be eating. You are not. No. I mean, think about this. If I simply fulfilled my desire to eat cashews all day, I would eventually fatten up on cashews.
Well,
Oh.
I went without food for 30 years at some point, so I think I can do without a bit more blood, I guess.
It does work a little bit different for us, though.
It
The
does.
more we...
You don't get fat?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Don't know. Anyway, shall we hit the rack and see about your people? And meanwhile, I might still, take somebody for a dance.
Yeah. Did your ghoul need Rafik for something
He
special?
asked me to ask if Rafik could be a bodyguard for him for the night. Haven't let him know about, being more than human, being more special, and I'd like to keep it that way. But for now, I want to see him make his own decisions and own choices. I want to see where he goes before I try and direct him further. And he's already got good plans, so I haven't asked why.
Can I ask why you baby?
Why, baby?
Yes, why you baby? Why you baby man?
It's funny coming from the guy who is at her hip. I'm letting him go out and make his own decisions.
I may be at her hip, but at least I am in the know. I know what is the truth of situation.
Well, I want to see what he has to bring to the table before I inform him.
So
of
you will
such
slit his
things.
throat if he is not adequate enough.
Not necessarily slit his throat, but something along those lines, let's say. If he can't keep secrets.
Rafik isn't the most intelligent person, so Rafik just kind of gets like this look of extreme confusion. He goes, "You would circumcise?"
Oh, I think she'd tear his heart out. Jala will snicker.
Not quite so messy, but...
Not everyone treats their people the same.
No, I just basically just order him about, but then that wouldn't be much help. I'd prefer to just...
By the way, if Rafik has any
From
insight...
what I've been described, putting him too much in the fold can cloud some judgments. I would prefer not.
I do not see my judgment as clouded. It is pure, it is of intent, and I know what I must do.
Good man.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
I am a little confused why the individuals upstairs who are not of the mistress but of you, and he points roughly in Ajala's direction, stay in room all day and do nothing, though. There is the vase maker, and there is the one who walks away and goes to do his own thing. I do not understand this, but, to each his own.
The Potter lady was severely wounded recently, so...
Well, then this makes sense. She must take time to recover and gain her strength. That makes sense. What about the Bukchuk? Or whatever the
Bukchuk
fuck his name is.
Potentially a bit of a problem right now, as in he went off to find himself. He's not particularly ours. He's from a friend who's currently also severely wounded.
This friend is
You know
severely
where I
wounded
went.
and cannot take care of himself?
Currently, he is in enemy hands.
No.
Did you give him anything to tide him over in the end?
Not yet.
If your friend is in enemy hands and this resource is, as we like to say, slightly better than human, but not better than human, as I understand it, then perhaps he should be placed under the domicile of another.
I figured so as well, but Cecilia claimed him, and she hasn't
I do
come
not see
around
your
to it yet.
Cecilia standing here talking to us in the position to claim domicile.
I'm well aware.
We
This
are
is why
running
I
out of
suggested
time.
one of us take it over for the time being, but yeah. Since we don't know when she will be back, and I'll look at the rest of the group now. Should we? Question is where he is anyway right now, as in I don't know where he went. Oh, we lost G-Meg's camp.
Well, if
Damn you,
he's
EOS.
Sorry.
if he's hankering for something to tide him over, one is hardly claiming. It's just a precaution.
Look, if you do not want to claim domicile, yes, keeping this person, within the fold would be smarter than simply letting a pup go.
Also, I had hoped that he wouldn't have left, because this was kind of my fear since we've taken him in, and Cecilia hasn't fully claimed him yet. As for-
Perhaps
Yeah,
did
and
he go
it's the way
to
it went.
retrieve anything that he promised, or is there some place he usually likes to hang out?
Possibly, we'll see. Fat Man, did he mention anything about where he was going?
Fat Man kind of pokes his head through the door. Not to me.
Fuck. Well, if we see him, I will bring him into the fold, unless one of you wants to hold on to him for now.
You
Because I'm
have a
not
key to his
fond
room.
of him running around while Serafino's at the mercy of Habiba.
G-Meg
We
asked
have
you
a
if you
key
had
to
the
his
key to
room.
his room. Oh, sorry.
We do. Fatma has at the very least. We should double check before we leave. Oh, yes, as for the other one, she knows how to deal with herself, and she brings in money. I'll
What
bring her
other
in to
one?
make a plan later.
Oh, is the small, emaciated girl in cloak also yours?
Yes.
My God. How many can you have?
You're going to take half of Jerusalem into your fold if you keep this up.
I wouldn't mind.
Well, technically Batu is also mine.
No, he shares the... Is it the he or a she? I'm sorry, I'm not clear.
Where is she?
Oh, she. She shares the connection. Then? Interesting. So this also transfers to animals. In this case, does your horse also share this connection?
No, it doesn't.
No?
Jal also instinctively responded with no to that.
I suppose I could.
Cassandra, yours is the Manu baby, who is your only one, or do you have more?
Only.
Speaking of Gofe, if he is, did I hear you tell us? By the way, out of character, did I hear you tell us that he wanted to procure real estate?
Yeah, she did explain that.
Okay. Well, if he has an interest in the whole real estate thing, we might also want to put him on the direct surroundings of the Painted Lady see what we can integrate into it. As in, I would like this place
Mm.
to get a proper upgrade.
Oh, absolutely, it'll be involved. And
Maybe if we
in regards to farmlands, one of the things he suggested is that barns are quite good for not just housing animals, but settling, housing other wares, and
Yes.
especially if we get more merchants and caravans under our belt, which he's already working on.
This
I
is
would
smart.
actually want. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I would actually want to see if I can get my hand on some lands as well. I mean, if I manage to
But
before
this
the
will be
clan,
for us.
yeah. Like keeping them at Petrolmule's lands, it works for now, but in the long run, would be better to have some more of our own.
Also, the way that Cecilia left, I would love it if she came back and we had a more proper setup here than she left behind, just if only to make her happier.
Well, he thinks he can get the deeds in a few days or so, but,
Plan?
slowly does it. It'd be good to speak to the people around there first. But yeah, if we get that property and some farmlands, we can definitely look into getting some more land for your clan as well.
Also, buying up the land within city that is considered your territory might be very useful. Officially have it under your thumb. But I suggest maybe we don't buy everything in our territory. Maybe we buy just a few things here and there to start with, and not put all eggs in one basket. Maybe if we
I
buy
would like to be
territory
business
elsewhere as
partners
well.
with Fran.
I mean, I don't want... my fear of buying everything in one location is easier to burn down than 10.
So we have to be realistic.
Good
Let's
point.
just burning
To
our
defend.
territory down, as in
Yeah, that is
different
true.
Made.
Harder to defend, though. But perhaps broken up by, how you say, the natural streets of the city. You could buy property on one side of the street and the other side of the street, where you have sort of that natural barrier between them. So should a fire start on one side of the street, the businesses on the other side of the street are not guaranteed to go into it ablaze.
Are we aware of any other Canaanites who own businesses?
You'd have to ask Cecilia because I no clue.
Sorry, is the question, are you aware of any Canaanites who own businesses?
Yeah,
Mm.
the one
Yes,
that I
you guys absolutely know of a Canaanite who
Apart
owns
from
businesses.
Alexis. Apart from Alexis.
Yeah, I was about to say Alexis, that I know of. Besides that, Jala's kind of oblivious.
And that's mostly churches.
What'd you say, Chimek?
Other than that, it's mostly churches, I think, that we
Yeah.
know are claimed.
But they don't... They claim them, they don't own them, though.
So I do know that Father Astuti
Thinking.
lives in the Holy Sepulchre and he does mass there, but
Oh, we
Yeah,
know
but-
that Canis has the brewery as well.
the microbrewery is technically, I think, Alexis's.
Oh, okay.
I think
Just
the
wondering,
pool
because it
was
might be.
Canis's. I don't entirely remember, so don't take my word for it.
Might be good to maybe be business partners with a few other kindred. Get ourselves some
Microbrewery
contacts.
would be a good place to take stock from for this inn, as in we could start business with, as you say, the other Canaanites that way.
I
And
don't believe
I have noticed, in the short time that I have been here, that you like to talk about this rack. Could we buy something there?
That would be amazing. Nobody owes the
I'm
rack.
not
I
sure
think.
if that's of
The rack is
use.
not here, unless we are talking about here. Are we talking about here when we say the rack?
The rack is in the Armenian Quarter.
Oh, that is a far way away then. Unless it's across the street.
Yeah, it's farther than
No, near to the Zion Gate.
it's
The Zion Gate?
down in the south of the city, and it's basically a common feeding ground for kind.
That's a great distance between here and where you feed. I mean, you got to have a dinner
I would
table.
like to make slaughtered ox a new rack.
Like
Not
a...
at all.
Okay.
That would
Let
be
them
amazing.
feed on our territory.
If we
For
open a
boons.
part of the territory to the public as a sort of service, we sort of get boons out of that, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
What does
for
it mean?
boons.
Basically, we give a limited space of our space as a you owe us.
Oh, that is a boom. Okay.
Why would people do that if they can go to the rack, though, or their own territories?
We might be able to cultivate something they want more, depending.
I think it'd be good to upgrade for slaughtered ox. I think
Once-
after recent events, it could use a makeover. I'd
I
like
don't
to
know how
work
this
closely with Vern on that.
works. Sorry.
I can't believe I'm suggesting this, but I kind of think that Father Restrucci is involved in some kind of trading.
More than likely. But what you
Because I
said,
know that he was trading with the clan
Oh? What kind of trade?
to some degree. I don't know. I just overheard it at the very end of it.
by the way, when we say of making a new rack, sort of making people owe us, I once, not too long after we've entered the city, I was hunting in these streets, like 2-ish weeks ago, and I came across a murderer whom I fed on. His blood was different. The violence, the anger, the almost sanguine feeling that was in that person's mind was in his blood as well when I fed from him. If we could cultivate people in a way that they have these stronger, more potent feelings in their blood, that might be something that some canites might go for. As
Maybe,
in,
but don't
it
also
actually gave me
forget
memories.
it gives you memories. Sorry, no,
He
you
gave
go.
me his memories, a few of them, of murders he committed. I've never had it since or before that.
That
It
might,
was quite trippy.
I may or may not be friends to some extent with the human sheriff. I sometimes have helped in a couple of interrogations. If you ever want to try another murder again, I could maybe weed all that out. But don't forget, Slaughtered Ox also had that wine that gave us a buzz. We could really
Yeah.
mark that up for our kind. Even do some kind of, again, that'll take some time. It'll definitely need a fair bit of work before we open that up as a rack to other people. But
So,
Are you saying this in
Something
the
to look
earshot of Fatma?
no,
Fatma's probably in the front, we're still in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. I was assuming so,
No.
but just in case just in case you guys
No.
had included Fatma in the conversation, he would give like a dirty glare to Cassandra after Cassandra just told him to stop importing.
no. Well, hey, we're in port here when we do better. Bro.
We
She wouldn't
could
have said.
indeed split over two terrains. I would prefer to start here and then expand on our holdings in the
Absolutely.
Orthodox.
Well,
Then we could
that's-
also sort of keep the whoring to the Orthodox and make sure that other services are more outstanding here, so both get proper business. Is that how it goes?
Yes.
Jala asks. Popping another grape.
Yes, but in time, when we are better established, friendly competition amongst our own is also a good way to go. But we're not there yet. That can wait.
Yeah, but it is at least plans. Anyway,
we
speaking
can
of plans, are we
discuss
still
this more
going to
later.
Mhm.
to the rack? Because I'm actually, yeah, I'm... Tummy is still quite rumbly.
Yeah.
And to look for feather, right?
Put 4
Yeah.
people in. Okay. Jala is such. He is indeed a crack whore for blood. Like, this is ridiculous.
Okay. So,
Right. Bring the silver weapons, Rook.
Yep. Spear and short sword. I'm going in
So,
for the.
that was a silver dagger, wasn't there, for Cassandra, right?
correct.
I believe so.
Can I do? Is there a role for like if she thinks bringing a silver weapon would be a good thing, or if she thinks it could potentially agitate a situation more?
You can make me a wits etiquette.
Thank you. She's. No. I can you roll for me? I just
Yep.
clicked too fast. Clicked out of roll 20. It's gonna give me a second. Sorry. I was
Sandra, are you
enthusiastic
wearing
in
a
my.
cloak?
Yes, she'll be wearing a cloak to try and cover up as much of the clunky silver armor as she possibly can. Like, what? Yeah, she'd cloak, shawl, whatever.
Add wits etiquette. Where is etiquette on this thing?
Etiquette. I think I got
Some
Here it
laser
is.
points.
1 or 2. I don't remember how many I got. 1 or 2 in etiquette.
3 successes. With what knowledge you have available to you, you think that carrying a silvered weapon with you should be fine. As long as you
Okay.
aren't brandishing it at certain individuals who are particularly allergic, that would be seen more as something that could aggravate a situation.
Cool. She'll take it.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. So, you go ahead and get yourselves ready to go. Properly dressed so that your shiny new armors don't shine as much. Preferably are covered with beautiful cloaks or silks, whatever you may have at your.
Hooded.
Um,
Don't have silks. Come on.
one of you has a beautiful silk black cloak, so you go ahead and get yourselves ready. Go ahead and are you going to go to the stables and get your horses, or are you simply going to walk there?
Walk, I guess, to the rack?
Fantastic.
Unless someone else feels like we should ride.
I'll walk. It's for fun.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Cassandra has 0 athletics and she's wearing silver armor. She's complaining at you guys for half of the way.
Fantastic.
You
make your way
at some point at the armorer.
Yeah,
To
you make
make
your
it more
way out of the Painted Lady into the wonderful bustling streets, down into the Armenian Quarter, through the various streets, and as you get closer and closer to the rack, maybe about a block before you reach there, Jala and Chimeg are greeted by a familiar yet friendly face of a cinnamon lady selling her wonderful cinnamon buns at a stall, who simply waves in your direction. If you guys want to have any interaction whatsoever, that's up to you.
I'll stop for
yeah.
a cinnamon roll, and I will actually, because I'm starting to wonder what this woman's deal is, I will try to read the soul on her, which I'm probably going to try it anyway.
All right, tell us how that works.
Because it's a long time since I've tried this.
Oh, the world.
Oop. I can basically roll a perception empathy difficulty of 8, which each success granting the character more pieces of information about the subject, which usually comes in a form of an aura. I'm gonna guess failure indicates the character was unable to interpret the current state of the soul. So empathy, perception, difficulty 8.
All right, make me that beautiful, beautiful roll, and give me like 5 successes.
Oof. Yeah, that's gonna be hurtful. Difficulty 8.
Difficulty
Does
8.
my art specs come into play for this?
I will allow it, yeah.
Alright. Let's try this. Oof.
Ooh.
Again.
You attempt to
Not a single
focus on this
success in
woman.
there.
You attempt to focus on this woman and focus on her soul. And as you open your mind and open your senses to all that is around you, you get this rush of smells and sights and sensations. And there's this floodgate of colors that begins to rush out at you as dozens of people, as they are passing by, just radiate almost like the sun in every direction walking by you. You see various different iterations of greens and reds and blues, browns, purples, all sorts of colors just going by, and it's blinding.
Jala is literally just holding his head and trying to stop all of it from coming in, as in it's too much as he started walking up to it.
Darling, are you okay? Are you alright? What's wrong? I did not know that my visage was so horrible.
No, I've got this massive headache.
Oh, I am sorry. Perhaps a cinnamon roll could fix that.
That was the plan. Give me a second. And eventually he sort of tries to look out from his eyesight again.
Eventually you bring your head up, and luckily for you, you have managed to close off the gazing of souls. You've managed to close off your sensations, as you have lowered not only your sight into the soul, but also have lowered your sight heightened senses in this instance, to adjust to what just happened to you.
Was hit in the head recently. I think it's still lingering.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that. Here, and she quickly gathers up a few Cinnabuns, packages them, and hands them over to you and says, "These are on the house. Don't worry about it."
Oh, thank you. Well, still, how much would I owe you usually?
Usually it'd only be about 3 copper, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I try to hand her the 3 copper anyway.
She takes 1 and she folds your hand back on the other 2 and pats you on the hand lightly.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry about that happening right now, as in I'm not entirely sure how that... Thank you, and I'll make my way back to the group.
Chimeg would actually have wanted to come with.
Okay. So, Chimeg, you kind of also pop up in frame, and I recognize you. Yes, yes. Hello, darling. How are you?
Cassandra,
I'm good.
Roll lady.
I'm not sure we got your name, dude.
It's been so long since last we ran into each other. I'm not entirely sure I gave you my name. Either way, I apologize. It's been a while since I've seen you. I know this is a long way from the Muslim quarter and the Christian quarter. Don't worry, I have things underhand. And I think you'll be pleased to hear I haven't been bothered by any of those ruffians recently. Your friends came by, though, and bought buns from me just the other day. The individual I described to you last time, the one with the, like, what did they call that Roman shield? Scutum, I believe? Yeah, the one with the scutum and the spear, and the one who was, like, rougher and homeless. They came by just the other day.
Huh.
What?
Would you figure that? Oh, I'll explain later. Oh, that reminds me, I think we completely forgot something in the Painted Lady. But yeah, interesting.
I was actually wondering if you'd seen some other people, and
Huh?
I'll describe Feather, or if you've seen anyone else of a Eastern
Ooh, not in this quarter. No. They're up in the Christian quarter. They told me that they were looking for a few individuals that they wanted to get in contact with before they went back to the tribe, and they were buying a few things. I did sell one of them a nice hot little bun, but yeah, no. Last I saw them, they were headed towards. Oh boy, I want to say roughly around the area of not the Greek partitionate, but like not the Greek Catholic partitionate, but like to the right of that a little bit. So sort of like around those. There's a pottery place there that had the owner hasn't been to in like 2 or 3 days, and there's some sellers of like specifically malt wines around that area, and she is describing the area that Eleanor lives in.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Hmm.
I think I know where that is. Just a quick other question,
yeah.
and I start describing Bucksrug. Did this particular person happen to come by any recently?
Towards this way, no. I know the individual you're talking about. He looked a little more pale than normal, but
Yeah, we're kind of worried about him. That's why.
I want to say last I saw it was today that I did see him, and if I remember correctly, he was heading towards the Citadel.
This
I don't know what for, but
How
this
many
was
hours
like, well, this was right around or right before sunset, somewhere around there.
Okay, thank you.
Cassandra will ask for a cinnamon roll, and we'll
Here
pay
you go,
for it.
darling. Yep.
Thank you very much. So she also kind of looked to Ajala and be like, that girl you told me about, and ask Ajala to give the description to see if she's been around here. Might as well.
Yeah. Do you? No, I described the girl. As in, you seem to come around. Maybe you've seen her.
Are we talking about Kat, or who are we talking about? Sorry.
I'm talking about the Fey lady that I bit at one point.
Ah, yes. I have seen her. She was being sort of trailed by those individuals, the one with the scutum and such.
Yes.
Yeah, they were a bit more relaxed than when I first saw them back in the alleyway. And they were sort of like, heading towards the rack, but or she wouldn't say the rack, she would describe the area around the rack. They were heading like towards that area-ish, but I don't know if they strictly went there. They could have, of course, gone into the Jewish quarter for all I know.
Well, that is good to know either way. Yeah, I'll look at the rest of the group. What do you think? Where should we go first?
I don't know. Surely.
As in, I'm kind of worried about Backtrack. If he's still at the Citadel, this might be an ideal opportunity to catch him.
Okay.
I'll look at them.
Do any of us have, and this is Rafik speaking, access to the Citadel? I mean, I assume it is heavily guarded, and not just anyone can go there.
Last time we just went in, I believe.
Oh. So you can just walk in?
I seem to remember last time we had to give our name at the entrance.
Correct, yeah. Last time you gave your name and what your business was, and at the time you were visiting Ezekiel, so. Or not Ezekiel, Zekiel. No E.
I am quickly checking for what my name was at the entrance. As in, on the other hand, if right now that woman is at the rack, then we might be able to catch her there still.
What woman are we speaking of? I'm not entirely sure.
Someone Cassandra wants to meet, and then again, I'm also still quite hungry.
Ah, okay. So you intend to feed on this woman?
No, I should avoid doing that.
Well,
Okay.
I would want to head back, see if I can catch up with Feather
Mhm.
before they leave town again.
Yeah. So
Should
they're
we
in the.
split up, maybe?
We'll go catch your people first in that case,
Right.
or maybe
How far did we come?
one.
You guys are like halfway to the rack at this point. Or not halfway, but most of the way to the rack. You're like a block away from it. My bad.
I could split off from the group at the Citadel and just quickly go check if Serafino's there, and then follow you to the area where they were seen. If you catch them, you
Still
could
in
bring them
the
to the Painted
ring.
Lady.
Okay.
What do you think?
The Citadel is still the Armenian quarter, right?
Slightly, but we'll probably pass there. We have to be in our territory. Well, we have to be close to home, so to speak. You'll say. The pottery shop. It's where Eleanor had her shop.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
head that
maybe
way.
maybe if you'll go to the Citadel and I'll head for the pottery shop.
Good. We'll walk together for a bit and I'll split off and then I'll come and find you.
That's good.
Alright.
You'll begin to walk together, turning around essentially, doing a 180, and making your way in the direction of the Christian Quarter and the. Yep. She says goodbye and quickly gets herself set as she goes to prepare more hot buns for her future customers.
As we are walking, the moment we're out of earshot, there's something about that woman. She knows way too much, and I'm quite sure she works for at least
She
one of-
still didn't give her name.
No, I
Correct.
noticed. Was about to say that. And when I tried to read her earlier, it's a thing that I'm supposed to be able to do, but so far it's only given me a massive headache. When I tried to do that, as in everything became way too overwhelming, so I'm not entirely sure if she has a power or something.
Ajala, she's
But-
not exactly book. You can't just peel her open and go, this is when you were born. This is, these.
I glare at Rafik and I try it at Rafik.
Okay. Go ahead and make the roll again.
This is again going to be a botch, of course.
Let me go back to that chart.
So perception, I'll have to be higher. Empathy, difficulty 8, here we go. I stare at Rafik and try
Sorry.
to read him.
2 successes? Okay, great. Fantastic. Give me 1 second here. Can distinguish main color. Alright. Gotcha. So, his main color is... Ooh. Blue with pale blotches.
So it does work. However, what the hell does that mean? I stand staring at Rafik at that point.
What do you mean that works? You have not ripped open my skin. You are not... Why are you looking at me like
But
that?
I can see more about you. I just don't know what it means. You know how both Cecilia and I can sort of sharpen our senses? I actually can see more about our friend here. I just don't know what it means that he's surrounded by a bluish hue with white splotches. Or pale
And
splotch.
for those of you, for out of character, for those of you in the audience, blue indicates that he is love struck, and pale splotches indicates that he is a ghoul.
Oh, you can see that.
Ajala has no idea.
Ajala has no idea. I'm just letting the audience know.
But that woman must have had some sort of power in order to block this. Like, the first time I did it was on a K-Night, and it fired back, like, with the woman, so she must have some sort of potential influence, which is, by the way, out of character. Not at all the thing that possibly happened, but Ajala's convinced of this.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is with her, and she makes darn good cinnamon buns, and he'll start eating
You
one.
munch into one, and it's like the perfect softness, and it's got like the perfect amount of cinnamon, and it gives you like that warm, fuzzy feeling as you bite into it. Yeah.
The anime close-up of the face with the flat eyes and the tears streaming out of it.
Yeah.
I really have to. You know what? I'll ask Alexis if he has a book on this sort of stuff, because I don't understand what it means. And he'll sigh and he'll continue walking.
Eventually, you guys come to the point of separation. And with that, Cassandra, are you also going to the Citadel, or are you going to help in search for Feather?
So just say, I don't mind where I go. Do either of you have a preference, or does anybody prefer to be on their own for this?
Fine, either
If
way.
I were on my own, I could probably get away from most things.
Okay.
Maybe you should stay with Ajala.
Okay. Should we have a certain time and place to meet back up?
Let's meet back at the Painted Lady when you're done, Chimek.
Sounds good. Rafik and Batu, you stay with Ajala.
He sort of opens his mouth and it'll look like he wants to protest, but quickly closes it. And says, very well.
Thank you.
And looks down at Batu, and Batu looks up at him, and they kind of both give this sad look and just make their way over towards Ajala.
See you soon.
Be careful.
Right, good.
So, the two parties split. Chimek goes on her own to begin searching for Feather. Go ahead and make me perception alertness as you walk through the streets, Chimek.
I will willpower this. If I may. Alertness. So 3 successes?
3 with willpower, yeah. So it takes you a bit of time as you search through the area, looking through the various shops, taking quick glances, making your way through some of the various different alleyways to try and quickly get to the most populated areas. But eventually, you watch as a familiar fur-covered individual makes his way down the street, a bow slung over his shoulder, a saber gracefully hanging from his belt, as he walks next to a horse, with another individual also walking with their horse beside him. And as the two of them walk down the street and you come into view out of one of the alleyways, that is where we will end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you for coming. The party still doesn't know if Cecilia is alive or dead, and they will find out hopefully next episode. We shall see. Either way, we greatly appreciate you, and we'll see you on Thursday, I believe. If not on Thursday, probably on Monday. Adios!
Oh.
Friday, not Thursday. Friday, not Thursday.